Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest live broadcast. My name is Carey Holzman, and I've got a very special guest, well, two special guests. Joining me here to my left, which is your right, just in case you were confused, this is Shane. I'm just going to call you Shane.
Okay, because Schellenberger is so difficult to pronounce.
Well, I was trying to help keep you in the witness protection plan, but I guess we're going to do that all over again. And hiding off camera, you want to say hello, is Lauren. This is Shane's wife, Lauren.
Hello.
There she is. And we have a studio audience today, live, in front of a live studio audience. Not a dead studio audience, but a live one.
They're unresponsive mostly.
So let's make sure everybody can see and hear us okay. Do we have audio out of sync? Is that what's happening? Sometimes this OBS software does this to me, and I have to stop it and restart it. So hold on just a minute, guys. We're going to...
Overly bad sync.
Overly bad sync? Is that what OBS is?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's try and see if that works any better. What you guys need to know is there's actually nothing I change on my end to bring the audio back in sync. I just shut OBS down, and then I restart it, and then suddenly we're back in sync again. Now, just so you know, there's two feeds, two video feeds. This is what the audience sees, which is about 90 seconds behind. And then this is our live feed right here. See when I move, we see that. They'll see that
real time.
Yeah, so that when we ask anybody a question, like there's still people saying it's out of sync because they're still watching from 90 seconds ago.
The past.
Yes, they're stuck in the past.
Whew.
Now, it doesn't really afford me any utility in the sense that I can't bleep anything out. Like I don't have, even though I have 90 seconds, I really don't. But the reason that delay is there is because I've got what's called DVR mode, which allows people to rewind the live video. If they just jump in 20 minutes from now, they can rewind and see what they missed.
It's TiVo for YouTube.
Maybe a reference some of the younger folks want to know, but yes. Whatever happened to TiVo?
It's still around.
It is?
Yes.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Well, apparently you did.
I did, yes.
Well, there we go. All right, so everybody says we're in sync. Now, thanks, you guys. It looks like we had a few contributions that came in. And let's see, Tony Wallows contributed $1.99. Hey, Tony, thank you so much for that. Colin Hunt contributed £5, and Nikolai Lukianov has contributed 50 pesos. And Colin Hunt again contributed 10 pounds. Jim Despositos contributed $10. He says, have a couple of Cokes on me. I think I will. You guys have your drinks,
I got
right?
my drink.
All right, you guys came prepared. Art Awesome contributed $10. He says, I'm still here. Work schedule is preventing me from watching live.
Oh.
I won't tell your boss if you don't. And Simon Etches kicked us off 10 minutes before we went live. The £2 contribution says, great channel. Flattery will get you everywhere here. It's nice to have a supportive community on the internet, which they said couldn't be done.
And you did it.
Well,
You're doing
they did it. They're doing it, right? I mean, it's not me. But hey, what do we got today? What'd you bring me? Let me adjust the camera. Will you tell me the story of this?
Well, as you can see, it's got a Carey badge covering the Dell symbol.
Oh, you got a Go Faster sticker on there.
And,
How'd that work out for you?
Only the magic of the Go Faster sticker would make it, in fact, go faster. I've been having some problems with the software. Things would work fine, and then I would need to shut it down, and then restarting it became a problem. It wouldn't restart normally, and then it came to the point where it said automatic repair will not work, and I was trying to fix things, and I probably made it worse because I've been having some eyesight problem and I'm not reading things the way probably Dell and Microsoft would like me to.
So what happened?
So it got to the point where I went from Windows 10 handicapped, now it's gone back to the original software, Windows 7 Professional.
Oh, so you ended up rolling it back by mistake?
Yeah.
That's interesting. How long did it have Windows 10 on it?
Oh.
Because it usually erases the ability to go back after 30 days.
No, it's I've had that on for over a year.
Something's definitely was wrong that entire time. One of the issues when you upgrade from a current operating system to a new one is if you had any problems with the old one, that's not how you fix them. And I'm not saying you did. You may have and you didn't even know it. Or maybe that was your motivation or your catalyst to upgrade, thinking by upgrading it, it'll fix the problem. But all you end up doing is carrying the problems over into the new OS. Now, I see you brought an ADATA SSD with you here. This is the 960. I've installed quite a few of these. What are your thoughts here? You want to replace your current mechanical drive with a solid state drive?
I would like to keep the mechanical drive in there, but if we could put the operating system on this so that it would boot up faster.
Boot up faster. Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, based on the symptom you're telling me, you could have a drive that's failing, and we can check that,
okay.
Right? And I've got plenty of hard drives you can have. Don't worry about that. But my concern is, if we do a fresh, clean Windows 10 install on here, like you say Windows 10 handicap. There's no version of Windows. There's Home and there's Pro, and then within there are accessibility features for hearing impaired, vision impaired.
And I was going after the vision impaired,
okay,
because I've been having some issues.
So do you know if you had Home or Pro installed on this?
I think it was well on 10. Yeah. It was Home. It wasn't Pro.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And this is a Dell XPS. This is the 8900. Is that Dell XPS 8900? I think it says it on here somewhere. You know, it's funny. We recently gave away a Dell XPS that looked just like this.
It's got the USBs up here.
Yeah, they're up there.
And in the front.
And it's funny because when you brought it in, I said, I've never seen one of these before until a couple weeks ago. I saw the very first one, this design of XPS. And in the span of a couple of weeks now, I've seen two of them. I mean, it's virtually identical. Is this something we want to cover up here? Is this something?
I can't remember.
Well, it looks like
what
some
was.
kind of a code or a password.
So
Is that the library number?
No, it's not the library number. That's on the.
Should we
monitor.
take that? Or I can take a.
It's just tape over
index card.
there.
Okay, easy enough.
Like magic.
All right, Mr. Copperfield. And let's get this side panel off and see what we're working with here. But what you're describing sounds like you had some file corruption, or could be a failing drive, could be bad RAM that causes something like that. So let's take a look and see what we got inside here. Yeah, it looks just like the other one did, except you have a graphics card in here. Did you add that, or did it come with that?
Nope, it came that way.
Interesting.
This is at the time, this was a top-of-the-line Costco purchase.
What the heck is this? Refurbished.
I don't know. That is something that they must have done.
I don't know why you would need that. I'll just put that over here with the rest of the stickers.
If I may,
Yes.
I remember when we first bought this machine, there was some big problem with it, and like immediately, and we had to contact Costco, and they sent us another part that we had to reinstall. Do you remember that, Shane?
Yeah, but I can't. Was that the
I don't remember
power
what the part
supply?
was, but there was some part.
It might have been the power supply, and that's why that says refurbished.
Okay.
Yeah, it was some part, and it just didn't work right away. We got it from Costco.
Yeah, Dell. The Costco sent out one of Dell's people, and he said, "Well, I don't have that part, but I can order it for you. Do you think you can install it?" And I said, "Yeah," because I think it was the power supply. It didn't seem to be that big a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that all adds up. You did it right. It looks good. Well, I guess I should put my phone on Do Not Disturb so we don't get calls throughout
Could
the
it be
show.
a scam call?
Let's take a look here. We'll go to give me just a moment. There we go. All right. Now, what's going to happen if I plug this in and turn it on? Does it boot to Windows? What does it do?
It comes up to the login screen, and I've tried the past 4 logins that I've used, and it will not sign on.
Okay, okay. If we do a clean install of Windows 10 on this, will you be able to put your applications back on? This is my main concern.
The only thing that I've got on this drive that would be a little bit more difficult to reinstall or would be music files.
Well, I mean, I can move all your data. It's just the programs that create the data or use the data.
I have backups for all those.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I just never hear customers say that. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's the way I'm going to fix this. I don't even want to look at what it's doing because I think it's beyond any reasonable repair for the amount of time. And so what I would like to do is I'm going to install a very clean, fresh install of Windows 10. And I think before we get started, we can test the RAM and make sure that the RAM still works well.
Okay.
I guess I didn't put this on Do Not Disturb.
You got close.
I know what I did. There we go.
Want to vibrate.
Yeah, that should be good now. So anyway, what I'm going to do, first of all, is we're going to run memtest86. We'll run it through a loop just to make sure your RAM is okay. Because it seems to me you've got some file corruption that could be happening, as I mentioned, from a bad hard drive, from bad RAM, or it could have just happened. You know, it could be anything from a virus-related thing to, a bad driver, anything at this point. But my main concern is I don't want to install Windows 10 and then find out that the RAM isn't good, and then we're just going around in circles trying to find it. So I'll start with memtest86. Now, memtest86 is a free utility you guys can download. I've got a quick tips video on how to make this little flash drive with memtest86 on it. And I'm just going to plug it here into one of these USB ports, and we're going to give the computer some power. And I also have to give it some video, so we'll grab the HDMI cable and we'll plug the video cable in. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen this machine. Everything is live, so if everything goes sideways, that's my excuse. And then we'll give the keyboard and mouse right here a go. Let's see, put that right there, like so.
That's one thing you have a lot of, are USB ports on this thing.
Yeah, well,
many choices.
Nowadays, that's pretty common.
The only thing that I'm never quite sure about is why they put so many on, and yet some are USB 3.0 and some are 2.0. Why not just make them all 3.0?
There's limitations to the chipset with regards to the bandwidth that requires.
Oh, okay.
And there's even a limit to how many USB 2.0 ports you can have. And so when people are talking about chipsets, they're talking about Z370 or 170 chipset, whatever that is on the Intel side or even the AMD side. The details of those chipsets involve how many data lanes you have, how many USB ports you can have, how many hard drives you can have.
So they don't want to necessarily
put
a super highway in here. They may just want to have a 4-lane highway.
You know, they make different motherboards at different price points that have different features. So if you're somebody who doesn't need a lot of USB ports and you're not going to plug in a lot of hard drives, why would you spend the extra $50 on that high-end motherboard that can overclock and do all this other stuff if you have no intent on using it? And that's why it's impossible to tell somebody this is the best part, because it depends on how you're going to use it. Mm-hmm. It's really impossible to say what the best part is for you, right? And so there's all these different options, and that does tend to cause people some stress with regards to, how do I know which one's the right one for me? Well, how can I answer that if I don't know you, right? I mean, it's something you have to do your own research for, or you pay somebody to consult with you, somebody that you know and trust. I do that for people and help them to, because putting the computer together is easy. It's just buying the right parts, not only the right parts that go well together, but the right parts that go well with what your needs, budget, and expectations are.
Right. If all you're going to be doing is check email, you're not the same person who's working with Photoshop or something more complicated.
Exactly. Or maybe you've got a bunch of USB devices. Maybe you're plugging into a lot of external storage or printers or what have you.
Well, they kind of force your hand with keyboards that use USB and mouse that uses USB. Used to be those were dedicated ports
Yes.
on the computer.
Yeah, and I don't know why they removed them, because those dedicated ports weren't really consuming any resources that you got back when they took them away. But yeah, they just went USB, and of course, the easiest solution for me is to just have this one Wi-Fi dongle that works with the keyboard and mouse. And Logitech does have what they call a unifying receiver, where if you buy say you like this keyboard and this wireless mouse, you can configure them to work with the unifying receiver if it's a unifying compatible Logitech product. So you don't necessarily have to buy the combo, because the combo might have a good keyboard that you like, but not the good mouse that you like, or vice versa. So it's nice that Logitech did that. And in fact, it'll remember your settings. So once you download the Logitech software, and you basically turn the unit off and back on again, the keyboard will have a switch on it, and the mouse will have a switch on it. And you tell it, I want to program a new device, and it says turn that device off and back on. You just programmed it. Now you can take that dongle, and it is tied until you change it, tied to whatever you just assigned to it, without the software. Like, you can take it, put it on a completely different system,
And those two things
will work. Yeah, so it's really nice that it works that way. I mean, it'd be hard to load the software if you couldn't get your mouse to work, to download the software to load, if that's what it required to make it work. So you just can program it once. If you want to change it out, or you want to have 2 mice or 3 mice on the same dongle, you can do that. This is a set I get from Amazon, and I just like, because it doesn't have the numeric keypad on it.
Oh, very slender.
It's light, and I don't have to deal with the batteries. It just plugs into USB to charge. Charge will last about 3 months. Same with the mouse. I'm not a fan of this mouse. It's a little thin for me, but for this, bringing it out and doing this, I don't need a big keyboard, and I don't want to run cables if I can avoid it.
I'm unusual in that I actually prefer a trackball to a mouse. Yeah,
some people, they have the trackballs, or they have, like, I used to have one that was just a roller ball with your thumb.
You just roll your thumb and then you have the other keys.
Yeah, but I did have a trackball for a while, but that was like the 90s. And what I don't like the touchpads on the laptops. Those things drive me crazy.
Yeah, Lori will refuse to use a computer that's got a trackpad unless she can get a mouse.
The Toshibas back in the day, they used to have what looked like a little eraser top.
Oh yeah,
pencil. No, those I like.
The little red eraser in the middle.
Yeah, because the button would be, the left and right mouse buttons would be just below the space bar, and then the red button would be, somewhere right in the middle of the keyboard. So it was a nice spacing of the hands. And unlike the touchpad, things weren't jumping around when you accidentally hit it with your palm and stuff. But yeah, again, it goes back to personal preference. And that's why they make all these products, all these different motherboards, all the different CPUs, all the different styles of keyboards and mice and speakers and monitors. It's to answer the needs of people with regards to budget, expectations. And it's really frustrating when people go on the internet and say, tell me what I should buy. Because I work too hard for my money to just ask a complete stranger how I should spend that amount of money. I would have to do my own research. In fact, I would say, if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to actually pay for somebody to give a proper consultation to you, or you're unwilling to do the research yourself, just go buy a pre-built, because building a computer isn't for you. Yeah. You need something, if you have that attitude, then it'd be like walking into a restaurant and going, just give me whatever you serve me.
Yeah, find something that I want to eat. I won't tell you what I like.
And don't make it special for me. Don't. I mean, if you pre-made it a half an hour ago, that's fine.
It's getting, Carey, it's getting harder, I think, for people to do in-person research, because fewer and fewer places have the products. Like, have you been into Fry's Electronics recently?
Yeah. Well,
that is sad. That is a sad place.
Well, but online, it's tough to compete with online.
Well, yeah, but you can't hold it. You can't say, oh, I don't like the feel of these keys.
True. That's true. That's true. But, but places like Amazon have such a liberal return policy, it's not much of a risk to just order something you think you might
back
like.
And forth.
Yeah, until you find one you like. I mean, they have, Amazon owns Zappos, and Zappos is the biggest online shoe store you'll ever see in your life. And they give you 365-day free returns. So they want you to order a bunch of different shoes, try on the shoes, and send back the ones you don't like. They're totally fine with that. They're doing clothing services now. Well, you tell them what you like, and they'll throw clothes together in a box: shoes, socks, shirts, pants, and you can have the boxes sent out once a month or however. Keep what you want, send back the rest, and they'll bill you. I didn't have much luck with that, but it's an interesting service. Sort of like Prime Pantry, where they'll send you meals. Everything's pre-measured, and they give you the directions on how to put it all together and stick it in the oven or stovetop.
Well, you're always wearing something interesting. I mean, it looks kind of.
Is interesting good or bad?
No, it's interesting.
I like
good.
your shirt.
I mean, oh, thank you. For anybody
people maybe can't see it on the small screen.
I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'll show you later. Anyway, you're always wearing something that reminds me of 50s golf, bowling shirts and that kind of stuff.
Rockabilly shirts.
Yeah.
Because I'm a rebel.
He's a rebel.
Yeah,
but he's got a cause. And they're computers.
It's just cause.
Just cause.
But that's a video game. Just cause.
Bow.
Just cause. Anyway, so you guys, Shane and Lauren, you guys twisted my arm and got me to do some improv.
We did it.
That was fun.
And he's welcome to come back anytime.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, we have not banned him.
Yet. There's no hide button. How long you guys been doing that?
I've been doing it since 2009, and Lori's been doing it since 2011. In fact, we not too long ago we got back from a Jonathan Colton cruise where Lori led a couple of improv workshops.
Who's Jonathan Colton?
Jonathan Colton is a musician who is also on an NPR show called Ask Me Another. He's a musical director on that.
Okay.
And he does geek culture music a lot. He does stuff that is computer related and science fiction and fantasy related. He does other stuff too.
Surprised
but
I'd never heard of him.
I don't know. Jonathan Colton is a lot of fun. And
well, apparently, if he's on a cruise ship, that they,
the entire cruise ship was all
Wow.
people who wanted to see him or his guests.
I feel like I'm getting old or something when people are talking about a thing that I didn't even know was a thing. I know there's 80s cruises and there's cruises with these celebrities, but I've never heard of this guy. I don't think I have. What's a famous thing that he sings? Is there something I
Code Monkey.
I know Code Monkey. Oh, I know
Code
who he is.
Monkey, get up, get
I brought
funky.
him on the radio show.
Oh,
way back in like 2006. Yeah.
Okay.
Code Monkey, great
Yes.
song.
There is on YouTube, and I don't know how long this will last, but there's a YouTube video called Best Period Concert Period Ever. And it's a concert and behind the scenes of a concert that he does. And it's great. And I recommend it to all you viewers to go out and check it out. And I recommend it to you to check it out.
All right.
But anyway, Carey's welcome to come back over to Second Beat.
Remember, I've got that on film now. Well, digital film. You've said it.
Lori's doing the drop-in improv once a month over there. So anytime you feel the need, let us know.
It's fun. It's fun and it's good. I've said before, it's good therapy for me. I've been so busy. I did like, 3 or 4 of those, I think. Maybe 3 of them. And then
you did one over at the other and then did it at Second Beat too.
Yeah.
So
and it was getting better. I felt like I was getting a little more relaxed so I could just be me, whatever that means. And then everything got busy again and there just hasn't been time. But I will definitely be back for more therapy.
Great.
Yeah. So let's see how we're doing here on our memory test status. We're on test 9 there's a total of 13 tests. And so far we're not seeing any errors and that's a good sign, right? So that suggests we're likely not going to get any errors at this point, but we'll just let the test finish. It may be another 10 or 15 minutes. In the meantime, if anybody in the chat room has any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. And we've got 868 people watching live right now. Welcome in, everybody. And what's this say? It's got an i7 6700 in this Dell XPS with a total of how much RAM? 16 gigs of RAM. Eddie Casanovas just contributed $5. Thank you, Eddie. And let's see if I missed any other contributions while I've been here yapping. John Peck contributed $2. John Craig has contributed £5. Just to let you know, your Amazon link for the USB lighter worked fine from the UK, and Amazon.com had no problem shipping it straight to me in Yorkshire. Wow, that's cool. Good to know.
I love their pudding.
Yorkshire pudding? Not the blood pudding?
Not
so much?
Not so much. I like my meat rare, but maybe not blue.
All right, well, we all have our personal choices. Some people like their
picadillos.
steak tartare. Me, I like it to be sort of charcoal on its way to becoming a diamond.
You're a well-done man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really offends a lot of cooks when I tell them I want a filet mignon and I'd like it well done. Get out! Out!
Why are you ruining this cut of meat?
They're like, you can butterfly that if you want to. Out! Can I get some A1?
Oh, you just want to rub their nose in it.
All right, let's see what the chat room's got. Any questions for me? This will be the time to ask since I'm biding my time. We're still on test 9. These last 4 tests.
I feel like you have to do this. I'm biding my time.
Well, Mr. Bond. Matt Power
You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Goldfinger?
Yes.
Look at me.
Very good.
Geek Point.
Doink.
Matt Powers contributed $2. Thank you, Matt. Vern says, I like my meat rare, but I don't want to chase it.
Ah.
Joe says, shoot leather. Yes, sir. That's right. I like it a little jerky-ish.
We heard something somewhere that they're trying to get more usage out of the entire animal. So from nose to tail, they want to use all of it. Didn't we hear that, Lori?
They already use all of it.
I'm sure we did.
But I mean, hooves and all.
They do all of it.
I was probably not paying close attention.
You turned off after the,
Yes.
They'll boil the bones to get the collagen off to make gelatin. A lot of stuff ends up in dog food or it's fed back to the cows, which is sick in itself. But that's how that whole mad cow thing. Remember those?
The brain, yeah.
Yeah.
That was mostly in Seattle? Or
There's a lot in England too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see what we got for computer questions here. Everybody's talking about how they like their steak. You know what? That's a good reason why you wouldn't ask somebody else how to make your steak, right? How would you like your steak prepared? You tell me. It's like the difference is a $15 steak is a lot different than a $1,000 computer.
I have been known to, when going over to somebody's barbecue, and they say, how do you like your meat? And I said, I'd like it done the way I'm going to do it. So you just show me the meat and I'll prepare it. That's okay.
You know, there's this trend in restaurants that everybody seems to like. They're like, oh, you know, Chipotle is the best. Subway is the best. Blaze Pizza or Pyology. Well, yeah, of course it's the best because you told the person how to make it. You watched them make it the whole way. So if you didn't like it, that's your fault.
I don't understand. Here's something I don't understand, how Chipotle stays in business.
Yeah, with all that stuff that's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's how you stay healthy.
You don't go in
evacuating, and then
Wow.
you build up your immune system, and it makes you stronger because it didn't kill you, and you go back for seconds because
doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
hey, watch those copyright
I know.
violations. Be careful. All right, let's take a look here. I'm looking for any technical questions. We're still on.
Come on,
test
somebody's got to
one,
have a
test
technical question for Carey.
I'm going to just scroll through the chat here. Oh, Lyle, getting comfortable there, boy?
That spot was too warm. I had to
Yeah.
move to a cooler spot.
Yeah, you're not going to like summer here, boy. Big ball of fur.
Well, he's been around for summers before.
Yeah, but...
And he won't like them. Do you ever shave him down?
No. Mm-mm. No, we found it's better for them to let, their hair supposedly works to insulate. But if I say that, he gives me this look like, the hell it does. You put on a jacket out in the summertime. Tell me that doesn't make you hotter.
Put on a fur coat in summertime.
Yeah, I think he'd like Michigan with me. He probably just wouldn't know what to do with himself. He'd just be laying with his belly on the snow, just like, like a polar bear. This is room temperature.
They've been having some interesting weather recently.
Yeah, they got snow in April. But it fills the potholes, so it all
there
works
you go.
out. It all works out.
They don't go so deep.
Yeah.
But boy, in August there are going to be pits.
Well, don't worry. The mosquitoes will have you distracted.
There you go.
Let's see what we have here. I am noticing my upload bandwidth. You see down here, you see this red? See it's turning red right here?
I'll take your word for it.
Right down here. You can't see this color right here?
If I get
You
closer.
have to get that close to see the color. This big green box.
I see green, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see that box being green all the time.
Green is good.
This is the upload. When this box goes yellow or red, that tells me that I'm
Slowing down.
uploading more than my bandwidth is handling for some reason.
Oh, so
I
you've
don't
got,
know if a recent Windows update caused that, or if it's the OBS that's causing that. But I don't see anybody really complaining about any stuttering in the video, so I'll just have to keep an eye on it. I might have to bring the bitrate down, or
you're underneath the threshold.
I'm just right on the line, seems like. But it's been working. Just all of a sudden, this last week, it started doing this. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. It says it's about 60 degrees in Ohio right now. That sounds nice. 60 sounds nice. 924 people are watching right now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this test. I feel pretty confident if we haven't gotten an error by now, I think the RAM's probably fine. I could be wrong, and if you're going to do this yourself, you should let the test finish. But because we're live and this is just riveting video to watch, I'm going to just move on. Because if I didn't get errors right away, we're probably okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to disconnect your hard drive right here. I'm going to pull the SATA cable and the data cable, and I'm going to plug in the new ADATA drive that you brought. And I'm simply going to plug it in with the same cables. There's the data. And here's the power. And then what I'll do is we'll put the memtest flash drive back. What do I do with the cap? Oh, it's over here. And I'll grab my Windows 10, which is on this flash drive. We'll plug that in back here. We'll plug it into one of the blue USB ports, make it go faster. And let's fire it back up. Now, because this drive is not bootable, it should just automatically boot to the Windows 10 USB because it has nothing else it can boot from. So in theory, I shouldn't have to change the boot order or anything like that. It should just work. And then what we'll do is we'll do an install of Windows 10 Home. And since this was activated previously with Windows 10 Home, as soon as we get it connected to the internet, start downloading all the missing updates, it should just reactivate automatically without having to enter any product key. And once we do that, and we get all the updates, make sure all the drivers, which should be taken care of through the Windows Update process, then we can talk about moving your My Documents or things over from this drive. And unfortunately, they don't really give us any room in here to install a 2.5-inch drive. All I have is this big 3.5-inch open area, so we'll have to get an adapter to make that fit in there.
Amazon?
I've got some here. We'll just use one I've got. But this is one of the limitations you get when you buy a pre-built machine. There's workarounds for it, but at the end of the day, it probably cost you more money than if you just built it yourself. The only way these save you money is you never put anything in them. Like if you just keep them the way they were built, don't try and change anything, then you'll win the game if you don't have any problems with it, it doesn't break. But if it's something you want to upgrade and something you want to expand, these cases are very limited. Power supply is very limited, and sometimes you can change that stuff out, but when you find out what it costs, you might as well just build a new machine half the time.
Speaking of that, judging on the chipset on this one, how close do you think I am to end of life of this machine being practical?
Maybe another 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless your needs drastically change where you're going to start editing videos or photos or things like that.
I do use Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, and
how's it running
Elements.
for you?
I mean, it's not as fast as I would like it to be, but it isn't so intolerable that I feel like I need to spend a couple $1,000s to get a new
Well, this
start a new
machine,
machine.
to answer your question, this machine will last you as long as your tolerance for it.
Okay.
In other words, the hardware on it shouldn't just die anytime soon. It usually probably lasts 30, 40, 50 years. But its usefulness really depends on what you're using it for. And when you reach a point where you're sick of it, that's when it'll be time to replace it.
Or when there's
It's
a program
not somebody else to tell you.
Yeah. Or if there's a program that won't work on the restraints of this machine.
No, every piece of software will work. It just may work very slowly.
Yeah.
Right? But it'll all work. It's just a question of time versus money. Right? But one of the advantages you have is you did not buy a bottom of the barrel cheapest computer when you bought this. This was a high-end computer, and therefore it has a longer useful life than, let's say you said, what do you got for $300? If this was a $300 computer, I wouldn't waste my time looking at it, because it's what? How many years old is this? About 6, 5?
Probably, yeah. Probably at least 5, if not 6.
Yeah. So on a $300 computer, you'd be at end of life on it. Or it would just be painfully slow, and I wouldn't want to work on it because it takes more of my time, which, if I was billing a customer by the hour, you would have to pay 3 or 4 times more to have me work on it, which would far exceed the value of the machine. Doesn't add up. You go buy a new machine, you take it home, you plug it in, there's no wait on a repair, there's no labor charge, there's a new warranty. Right? But because you bought a high-end machine, a Dell XPS series of Dell, you hear my cow?
Jimmy went moo, moo.
Because this was a high-end machine, you'll get a far more useful life out of it, far more. So you pay a little now or you pay a lot later, sort of what it boils down to. So you probably paid upwards of $1,000 or more for this.
I think that's you're right on the button. That seems to be a thing.
It's a thing.
You pay $1,000. Well, no, think about it. You pay $1,000, and 5 years later, when you want to start thinking about getting a new machine, you're going to pay $1,000,
but you get
but you get more features.
Yeah. You'll get an SSD.
It's like,
you get bigger hard drive. Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like phones. The price of phones never goes down, but then a number of features go up.
Yeah, but the price of phones tends to go up. Like the latest iPhone's the most expensive phone that they've released in.
I'm not putting money in Apple's pocket. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I can't argue with you about that. You're sort of preaching to the choir. We don't really need anything else in this package, but it does have your warranty information. There's a little spacer in there for some laptops where these drives. The problem with these SSDs is they make them too darn thin, and so they have a spacer to keep it from bouncing around inside of a laptop. So that's what's remaining in this box, and we don't need any of it, but
it's weird that they would put another part in here
to make it bigger
instead of just making the container bigger, because the drive is in a container.
Well, there are thin laptops where that would be too thick
I
to
see.
fit
I
into
see.
it.
Okay, so 2 different types.
Yeah, it's to accommodate the needs of the individual user, whether it's a desktop where it's sort of irrelevant on a desktop, but on a laptop it can make a difference. And so they want the product to work universally among all the platforms as much as they can, and that's why it's done that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a reason why the data cable and the power cable are, well, never mind. I think I just answered my own question. The power cable is going to go to the power supply. The data cable is going to go to the motherboard.
Correct.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. Yep.
I love it when I answer my own questions.
Yeah, sometimes you just think about it.
Yeah.
The stuff isn't rocket science. It really isn't. It's all pretty straightforward once you understand, look, the drive needs to have power to work. When it works, what does it do? It reads and writes data. Well, how's it getting the data to and from the thing requesting the data? You need a data cable, right? That's all there is, power and data. What's nice with the new M.2 drives, you know, is you don't have any cables at all. You just plug it in like a memory module, and your power and data are all taken care of for you in the
All
single
coming off the
connector.
motherboard. Yeah.
You just put one screw down, and it's less wire management. No wires to fall off. You know, certainly you've seen new computers that arrive, and the cables have fallen off. And that's a tech support call. It could be a return, even for somebody who's not comfortable already opening a computer, or someone who's intolerant says, "I'm not opening a brand new computer. Give me a new one. I don't trust it now. I've lost confidence in it. I want a new one." All over a cable that fell off.
Are you surprised that the computer manufacturers haven't come out with more appliance type computers where there is nothing inside that anybody can do anything to, but they're perfect for grandma and grandpa?
Well, most
to do
of
their
those
stuff?
$300 computers that I mentioned are built exactly like that.
Okay.
But what upsets me about many of the manufacturers like HP is from the front, they look like any other computer. It's when you open them up, you realize it's all empty space. And it was designed intentionally to look like a regular computer.
So it makes people think that they're getting.
Well, when you're bargain shopping and you're like, well, that computer and that computer look alike, but that one's cheaper. I'll buy the cheaper one. And they even go so far as to even put the power supply external like a laptop, and it plugs into the back. Imagine a little mini tower like this that has a laptop power supply. There's no physical power supply on it. As a result, once it's out of warranty, there's no repairing it. It's done. It's like a big lighter that has run out of butane. You throw it away. It's terrible for our ecology, but it's good for the economy. And that's what they do. They play to the
Planned obsolescence.
Well, they race to the bottom is what they're doing. And you're not getting a deal. You're spending $300, you're getting a $300 computer. I mean, that's all there is to it. It is really, you get what you pay for in this industry. And there are some extremes. There are some machines that are $2,500 to $3,000 that you could build yourself for half that. But they're such specialty shops that they've got overhead that they've got to cover. And so they have to make a profit on top of the overhead. Companies like Falcon Northwest and stuff like that have built some pretty high-end, nice gaming machines, but they also have quite a profit margin. A $300 computer doesn't really have any profit margin. You're not going to get good support. They don't really care about you. They don't care. It's $300. I guarantee they did not make $300 on the sale of a $300 computer. They maybe, after distribution and packing and everything else, maybe they're clearing $50 or $60. And, you know, you got employees to pay, you've got, you know, all this other, so the people are like, wow, their support's terrible. Well, yeah, you bought a $300 computer. You get the support that comes along with a $300 computer, which oddly enough would suit somebody technically minded much better, right? Because you can solve your own problems. And if with a cheap computer, statistically, in my experience, you're more apt to have problems. So anyway, yeah, it looks like you've got built-in video on the motherboard plus the add-on graphics card. Interesting that they didn't cover those up. Let's take a look at the chat and see what I'm missing in here. All right, we're ready to do the finalization of, let's see, United States with a US keyboard layout, no secondary keyboard layout. And yeah, we can connect that later. We'll skip that for now. Say no to that. What username would you like?
Shame.
Okay. Oh. I'll grab it. Quiet. Quiet.
Quiet. So
Okay.
that's the doorbell with the dogs.
Good boy. Good boys.
Dog alert! Dog alert! It's what? Oh, it is.
They got their bark box.
Bark box arrived. Is that a monthly subscription?
Yeah, they send them 2 squeak toys, 2 packages of treats every month.
Oh, the bark box. Everybody's on subscriptions now.
Oh, it's great because I was getting the dogs toys once in a while when I think about it, and they're such good boys. I just thought, let's make something happen regularly. But as you can tell, I've got a pile of toys over there. But when he disembowels them, I throw them away and makes more room for the new ones. But then I don't feel bad. You know, he's got more toys than he can chew. He's not even through the last few months' supply, and he's already got some more.
Just in case he gets bored. Bored. Kara, I was going to ask you if the last computer you and your nephew built for him, is that a gaming computer?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And he does a lot of online gaming?
Only online.
Only, okay, so
Pretty
it's like
much.
World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably nothing like that.
Well, it's not World of Warcraft, but it's, some of these older games kids are still playing, and still playing Counter-Strike Go, CSGO, or Call of Duty is still pretty popular. And then there's other games, there's more obscure games that, would be obscure to us, but aren't obscure to them because they're 15 years old and that's their whole world. But, games like Cuphead, and actually Cuphead's not as obscure anymore, but he plays some games I've never heard of before. And he's not using a computer for work, I can tell you that. No.
Okay. And
he's not using email, because that's what old people do. They'll
everything's
text. Yeah. So the only reason he wants a computer is to game. But always, what's the point of having one? And it should have RGB lights, and it should be, something to impress your friends, and that's the life of being that age in this day and age that we live in. And I'm going to sound like a grouchy old man. Kids today,
get off my lawn!
I'm keeping this ball.
Different strokes. For me, the RGB is, might as well go out and get a disco ball.
You might as well just go out and buy a light bright and get over it.
Yes.
Make your own colors and pattern and put some magnets on it and stick it right out of the case. You're out of there for under $15. You're welcome. Just saves you a lot of money. 100% compatible with all versions of Windows. Yep.
All versions of every computer.
Yep. No compatibility issues at all. So we've got Windows 10 installed on here. So I've just connected to the network, and I'm gonna go ahead and download updates. In the meantime, I can eject the Windows 10 installation media here. And that can be used another day, another time. I'll just set that down here. Now, once I have Windows updated, we'll check to see if the activation happened, which I hope it did. I can also run Crystal Disk Info to see the status of this hard drive, but I guess it would help if I hook that hard drive back up. So I will have to do that. You're going to need an extra SATA cable. I've got one laying around I can give you.
Oh, so there's only one hard drive cable in here? One data cable?
Yes. So these pre-builts only come with what you paid for.
Oh, okay. So even if I wanted to put a separate drive in,
you'd have to get a SATA cable. Yeah. It's not a big deal. They're $2 or $3 at Fry's Electronics. You can buy them off Amazon, etc. So let's go ahead and let that download. And while that's happening, I got another package here. I want to see what that is real quick.
the mystery box.
I think I know what it is.
That's not so much of a mystery then. I'm waving my wife off screen.
Here we go. Here. Speaking of RGB. Here, you want to come over here for a second?
We all had to come over here.
Lyle's here too.
Since we're waiting for this update. This right here, I'm going to show everybody at home. You guys stand in there for a minute. Let me just, since we don't have to watch that whole thing, we'll go to big screen here.
Big screen.
This is a modern day mood ring.
Oh, I see.
Now, it changes color depending on your mood. So go ahead and put this on and let's see what mood you're in.
Oh wait, I gotta put it on a bigger, so it actually fits a finger.
And we should have an index card that tells us what the colors mean. Let's take this out. So you can have this with your RGB computer. There's all the colors. As you can see, if it'll focus. Come on, focus.
I don't have much effect on these things.
I just had it a minute ago. I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. Maybe I can manually focus. That's what I have to do.
Well, I've been dog petting. You think that would help?
There it is. Well, anyway, so it says, what color is it? Well, you're cheating if you're doing that.
It was blue.
It was blue.
It was this blue.
That's happy. You're happy.
Yeah.
Happy.
See, you need a piece of software to tell you if you should be happy or not. That's what benchmarks do for people.
So he just made it like a purple.
Now, if you're purple,
That one, excited.
you're excited. Now, if you're angry, it leaves a red mark somewhere on your face.
A little red dot.
That's what 33 years of marriage looks like.
Is that okay? Well, that explains that mystery right there. So I saw that on Amazon. It just looked like fun. And I just thought, to go along with the RGB craze.
That is funny.
And I guess this is like a little, they must give you a little cleaner, I guess.
To polish your ring.
I guess you can polish your mood ring.
That is
So I'll put it on.
This is like 1 square inch of fabric.
Well, what do you want for $8 on Amazon? So what it's doing is obviously it's affected by temperature.
It's really thin too.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow away there.
So mine is like a deep dark blue. And
You're
that means
excited.
I'm excited. I'm never excited. This thing is wrong.
Wah, wah, wah. It's defective. Send it back.
Oh, it's turning black. Now it says I'm stressed. That's more like it.
Yeah.
All right, I just needed to give it more time.
All right, Shane, you want to try it? Should Shane try it?
You might have to put that on your pinky. Is that going to fit? Barely.
Barely. Well, we'll just.
That was the biggest size they sell, by the way.
Oh, I think that this is intended for not male hands then.
That fit me fine. So what are you saying?
Sorry, I didn't mean that at all. What I meant was.
Well, it's nice to know you think I don't have male hands.
My hands aren't
I don't
that
even want to
big.
know what you think of my feet.
My hands aren't that big. So we have a little story about Lori's wedding ring. This is her 3rd one.
You guys
only
been married 3
once.
times?
No, she's been married
once.
The first one I made for her had a fitting,
You could come up here
had
and
a
show them.
stone.
Show them the ring.
And Lori was closing
Right over
an
here.
Arcadia door. And when she closed that Arcadia door, it sheared off the fitting.
Oh my.
So the stone went up. So I said, I'll make you just a band. So I melted that one down.
You know how to do that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's called lost wax casting. And I was doing it about the time we were getting married. I was doing a lot of it. So, especially for her. I melted that down and I cast a new ring. Well, this ring was a little bit too large. And on a cold day, she was gesturing like this and the ring went swing out into a field.
Yeah.
And it was gone.
Yeah.
So I made this ring a half size smaller, and she still has it on her hand
How
to
long
this
does it
day.
take you to make a ring like that?
The entire process takes probably a week.
Is it true you do that from the bones of puppies?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's made from wax. That's what, you melt
It's
the
just a
wax
gas.
out of this cavity of plaster that you pour it into, and that's why you lose the wax. It's lost wax.
I see. All right. Well, it's kind of how they.
So
cast
here's
an
here's
engine
I
block.
haven't have I affected it at all?
It looks like it's the same. I think maybe you're
I'm black.
excited and stressed.
Am I excited
You're excited and stressed at the same
and
time.
stressed at the same time?
So apparently, excited. Well, that's weird because excited is 23 degrees Celsius and stressed is 15 degrees Celsius. Those two things are nowhere near each other.
No,
Yeah.
my body temperature should be a little bit.
You're a freak. You're a cyborg, aren't you? So
I
it was
think-
getting the
I think
skin
everybody-
and the machine.
Yes.
It was picking up the skin and the machine. So did you make your ring too? Because it looks
Yes.
very similar.
Yes.
And is that made of gold?
Yes.
All right.
Uh-oh.
There's a skill I don't see. I can fix computers, but anything that involves cutting and measuring or really, really hot liquid metal, yeah, just not a good
I
thing.
made this belt buckle too.
You made the belt. So you're really into.
Well, I was at the
He
time.
was at the time, and then I was working for the community college district, so he got free tuition. So he was
Free
able to use-
tuition.
he
Oh, and took the
could-
jewelry classes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could use their facility.
Oh.
That's cool.
I was going to explain this shirt. So
There you go.
I wore this shirt in honor of Carey because Carey is a fan of Rick and Morty.
I am. That's true.
And this is an homage to them and also to a certain Doc and Marty from another movie.
Another movie. We
Well,
can't
a
say it?
movie, not another movie, because Rick and Morty is a cartoon on television, and Back to the Future, of course, was three movies.
So there you have it.
So there you have it.
Well, that clears that up.
And you might recognize the individuals.
Yes, I'm
This
wearing
is-
a
You got
Deadpool
some.
shirt.
They were liking your Deadpool shirt there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
this is their Argyle.
This is like my favorite shirt, and I wear it with a black sweater, and then I'll go out someplace, and people think it's all like one outfit until they look really closely and realize it's Deadpool and not just Argyle. That's like my favorite thing to do to people.
Subvert their expectations.
Yes.
I was thinking like Harlequin, Deadpool kind of mixed there.
Yeah.
All right, a couple contributions came in. Let me give a few shouts out here to the generous folks. Christoph Esch, who watches us in Germany, has contributed €10. He says, have a Coke on me. Ruben M has contributed $1. And where's my list? Where did my list go? John Yasuda's contributed $15. He says, here's money for pizza and corn. Carey's favorite. It's getting to be, well,
Corn?
well,
Okay.
corn season's July.
Ah.
Right, so I think the farm across the street is planting corn. I think that's what they're planting, and I think it'll be ready in July.
So you can just
Nothing
walk across
better.
the street and pick
Well, I
up
don't
the
think
corn?
it's corn for us. I think it's corn for cattle. It's not good.
Oh, not
that-
good.
yeah, I tried that once, and it did not look good. But corn is not expensive. But when it's in season and it's fresh, it's a real treat. It's one of the few things I eat that's somewhat good for me, maybe, sorta.
Corn used to be pretty easy to get 10 cents an ear.
Yeah,
And now it's 8 cents an ear when you got a deal.
yeah. But I mean, how much corn do you need to eat? for
I know,
crying out
I
loud?
know, I agree.
All right, William Majors contributed $2, and I think that catches us up on everybody. Yes, and thank you guys for that. Let's take a look and see how we're doing on the updates. Let's switch back. Oh yeah, we're good here. So let's retry. This is normal. Sometimes it'll do automatic updates in the background, and so when I grab updates manually, they start to fight with each other. And it doesn't really tell you why it fails, but it's fairly normal, and it looks like a lot of them failed, so we'll just repeat that. And by letting it sit for a minute, that let it process much of that in the background. And it still may fail these if those had already installed. It can't install it twice.
How do you know if it's already installed it?
It'll just say it's failed, and it'll tell you to restart the computer. And when you restart and recheck for updates again, then it will refresh what current updates you have.
Okay, so it won't need that update.
It's
because-
stuck on the last time I told it to check for updates.
Okay.
It doesn't realize it may have updated in the
Okay.
background.
So the-
Microsoft hasn't really fixed that
That makes
particular,
sense.
The librarian doesn't really check until you restart it.
or until you recheck for updates. But in this case, some of these updates will want a restart to take effect. So there's no point in checking for updates again until I restart.
Makes sense.
Because there may be updates to the updates.
In seconds?
Well, not in seconds. It'll be that the updates don't replace each other. So if we had an update come out 2 months ago and they found an exploit in that update that they addressed last month, and then this month there were some new updates, then you have to get those updates in that order. They don't replace each other. You still have to download those updates and then download the updates to the updates.
It's a never-ending battle.
Well, it's costing them bandwidth. You know, you can imagine how much Microsoft must spend having to send all this data and pay for that bandwidth to the hundreds of millions of Windows users out there. And I'm sure if there was a better way, when I say better way, I mean just as a reliable way, plus the cost of paying the programmers to fix that and then put it all in one update. It costs them a lot of money versus the cost of just wasting your time. Your time is free to them. So that's how much they value it.
Yeah.
That's why they try to do those updates at like 2 in the morning.
On Tuesdays.
Well, the updates come out the second Tuesday of the month. I generally check for updates manually, but I will. Oh, here, we're ready to restart right now. So let's restart. On occasion on my office computer, it'll say updates are ready. And I try to take care of that as quickly as possible. Those updates are free. Microsoft doesn't stay in business giving away stuff for free, so they've got to be pretty important. And so I recommend everybody always get the latest updates. So here we go. So DVR mode is enabled on the live video. If you're just joining us, you can rewind the video right now to catch up with us.
Catch up on the hilarity.
I prefer no catch up on my hilarity.
Oh!
Are you a mustard only person?
No, I'm more of an A1.
There you go.
Yeah, mustard not so much. Let's see here.
So are you a Chicago dog kind of guy, or are you a New York dog?
I'm a Detroit dog.
Detroit.
Detroit Coney.
Okay. What is a Detroit dog?
Well, a Detroit Coney.
Mm-hmm. Which is hilarious because Coney Island's in New York.
Yeah, but Detroit started it.
Okay.
So so if you were in a grocery store in Michigan, you could buy these. These are called Kogel's Viennas with a natural casing. So the natural casing, it's got that snap when you bite into it. Anybody from Michigan knows what this is.
Did you find a place here that sells this?
There's a company that travels around. They make a deal with Kogel's to travel around the United States to Michiganders who have moved. Apparently there's a lot of money in that. I mean, they stopped in Glendale and they stopped in Mesa, and I think they stopped in another city in the Phoenix metro area as part of their Arizona visit. So they were right down the street, and I went in there, and this is also a Michigan thing. This is called Sharp. Well, this is a Sharp version of what they call peconing cheese. And I've never actually had it. But I left Michigan when I was a young one. But I do like Sharp cheese, and I thought I'll try it. They have bologna. They have macaroni in bologna. It's one of the things they make. It's weird. They have sausages and things, all made by this company, Kogel's. Michigan, a part of Michigan, has a very large Polish immigration there. So there's a lot of Polish sausages. I think Kogel's is Polish. Yeah, kielbasa, that sort of thing. Patskis or something like that. It's a little...
Patskis, like...
it's like a pastry.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like a pierogi or...
I think so. That's not the part of Michigan I grew up in, but I'm aware of it. And anyway, so a Detroit Coney would have that, a Kogel brand Coney dog. So instead of a hot dog, a Coney dog has a natural casing. Right. So it's going to snap. And the dogs are all tied together. You know, you have to pull them apart.
The links.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Michigan chili is not spicy. It's generally I think it's just a ground beef chili. I don't even think there's beans in it.
Like Wolf brand chili?
I couldn't tell you because I don't eat it.
Oh, okay.
I just have a hot dog on a bun with nothing on it.
Okay.
But I see what people eat, and I know the Michigan chili is different. I don't think there's beans in it. I think it's just like ground beef, and they put top it with onions and mustard, and you're not supposed to have ketchup on it. But that's more of a Chicago rule. Heinz created a ketchup just for Chicago folks that they called it hot dog sauce. They said you don't have to put ketchup on your hot dog. You can put our hot dog sauce.
Yeah, I always thought that was the water in in the
Yeah, right.
the hot dog carts.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, Hebrew Nationals were always my favorite. You know, they're 100% beef.
They have to
Yeah.
answer to a higher source.
A higher authority. Yeah, so that the Kogels thing, it's a special treat because unless I go back to Michigan, I can't get it. But when you're in Michigan, it's pretty much in every grocery store. So when you leave Michigan and you're like, I'll just go get some Kogels, you're like, what do you mean they don't have Kogels? Nobody knows what you're talking about. I didn't know that was a Michigan thing.
So what kind of bun?
We have just a regular bun.
Not a poppy seed.
No, that's a Chicago dog.
Yeah.
They'll do something called a loose burger, which is basically ground beef.
Loose meat sandwich kind of thing?
Well, it's just ground beef in a hot dog bun, topped like a hamburger, but in a hot dog bun, and it's just loose ground beef. It's not smashed up. There's a place called Detroit Coney Grill on Hardy and Broadway. And the guy, it's a long drive for me.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit of a drive.
But even when they make their French fries, they do it. You know, they put the potato, they pull it through, drop it in the oil when you order it. So it's very fresh. And I like the culture where everybody's very kind to one another and actually acknowledge each other's existence, which is pretty rare to find in a Phoenix establishment. And it's also fun to tell, oh, you're from Michigan. Of course, where are you from? And then, you know, it's like a...
Old home week.
It's like a reunion with people you don't even know. It's really fun. So I just need the guy to open one up on the west side. Keep telling him, west side, west side.
You'd even settle for Phoenix.
Sure, even a central location would be great instead of east or west. Just put it in the middle, right? All right.
You know, sometimes you get some of these companies that all they want to do is expand.
Yeah.
You know, they open one and they think that we've ironed out all the bugs. Now we need to open 10 of these.
Yeah, and they grow too
And then
fast.
they start failing.
Yep.
And then even the main one gets endangered.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's the same old tale over and over again. Sometimes the food quality goes down real bad too. It just doesn't have the same care. Nobody cares more about the business than the owner, generally speaking, with rare few exceptions. And once the owner sort of signs off on homogenizing it, I don't know, just loses its appeal in many cases. Let's see. There's a pizza place from Michigan, well, several. Domino's Pizza started in Michigan. Little Caesars Pizza started in Michigan. Hungry Howie's Pizza started in Michigan. And one that just came out here is Jet's Pizza. Jet's is in big chain in Michigan.
Is that J-E-T-Z?
No, J-E-T-S. And they sell it's like a pan crust.
I like pan.
And Michigan pizza are generally square cut. They're usually square pizzas, square cut. That's generally a Detroit style.
Cafeteria style.
No.
Well, school cafeterias would generally make square pizzas.
I grew up with square
or
pizza.
or rectangular.
Square pizza. They're pizzas. Remember?
I'm not saying that they taste the
Well,
same.
what Jets does is they'll have like a 4-corner pizza or an 8-corner pizza because everybody wants the corner piece because of that crust. They get
I
that.
know, I like that one.
The story was they used to have parts bins, parts trays in the automotive assembly line, and when those would get dented and damaged or whatever, some people thought, hey, I can make a pizza in this thing. That's the rumor of how it got started. And they just opened a Jet's Pizza. Oh, it's way out on Tatum and Shea, and then there's another one out in Chandler. So it's really just carry out only, like Domino's, like Little Caesars, like Hungry Howie's. And I'll get a hankering for it every once in a while. I'll make the half-an-hour drive, and then I get it home. It's already cold, but you just stick it back in the oven. It's fine. And it's just something different. After a while, I just get tired of the same old thing. And there was no Jet's Pizza when I lived in Michigan. I never heard of it. A buddy of mine that lives there, you know, I said, hey, if I'm going to Michigan, what's your favorite pizza place? He's like, Jet's. I'm like, oh, it's like a mom and pop place? He's like, no, that's a chain. Like, wasn't a chain when I lived there. I'll have to try it. And then I thought, oh, this is like Pizza Hut's pan pizza. That's what it's. So I went and I got a Pizza Hut pan pizza, and it was disgusting. I'm like, this is not like, this is the way Pizza Hut pan pizza used to be in the 80s. It's not that way anymore. And that would be the closest thing I could explain it as. But it's just something to be different. Look, it's pizza After a while, I just, you know, want to try somewhere different, different crusts, different styles. I'm not a fan of thick crust. I want more than just bread. It's kind of a medium between if you took a deep dish and a thin crust and put them together, you kind of get a Detroit style. They have in Target, I saw frozen Detroit style pizza. They wanted $8.99 for a frozen pizza made in Cleveland.
Was it a 12-incher?
No, it's a little
8?
Yeah, it's square, rectangular.
Oh.
And I thought, it's not even made in Michigan. It's made in the same factory that make DiGiorno.
Style.
It's offensive. It's like a 32-inch class TV. So it's not 32 inches. It's 30.9 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 32-inch class. If it was 33 inches, you think they'd say it was a 32-inch class? No, they'd have to go to a 34-inch class. You know, they'd have to make up a number bigger. You can never go the other way.
Yeah,
All right,
so
you guys are
people
making
don't
me
even
hungry.
start. Sorry, I just noticed.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, it is 2 T's, Jetts. But the owner's name, I think, is 1 T. The owner's last name.
But he probably added the extra T so you could trademark it.
That may be the case. Malwarebytes is offering premium for $39.95 for 1K. Right now, you can go get a 5 license Malwarebytes for $24.99 at Newegg. So, yeah, $24.99, and you can use the license on up to 5 PCs for $24.99 today. I don't know how long.
For Malwarebytes?
Malwarebytes at newegg.com. I'm from New Jersey. We don't eat at chain pizza restaurants. They are not real pizza.
Well, you shouldn't
Somebody's
have
a
to.
little
She
snobbish.
would agree with that originally because there used to be a place here in Phoenix, well in Scottsdale, called Bits and Pizzas. Bits
Oh,
and
that's
Pizzas,
Bits and with an apostrophe
Pizza.
pizzas.
It's a clever name.
Yeah.
But it was very thick crust pizza.
It was a deep dish pan pizza.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And
I have my mood. It's times when I'm in the mood for that. Mostly I'm not, but once in a while. And it's good, or is it gone?
Well, it's gone.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
Well,
Too bad.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
thanks
it
for
was,
bringing up my hopes and
I
shattering
know.
them.
I know. It was one of those places that was near where I was working. So the gang would all say, "Hey, let's go over to Bits and Mamas." Okay.
Bits and
Pizzas.
Bitsy Mamas.
They have
Bitsy Mamas is downtown Glendale. So no, that's a restaurant.
They have a pizza place in Michigan like that. I think they have 3 restaurants. It's family owned called Buddy's. And everybody's talking. I've never been there, but the next time I go back to Michigan, I'll have to check out Buddy's because that's all I hear about. It's Buddy's, Buddy's, Buddy's.
One of those places that lines out the door.
I don't know, but I know it's not a chain. I know it's family owned and operated, which sounds good to me right from the get-go. All right, let's look in the control panel. Let's see if this activated for us. Let's take a look under, let's do the large icon view and go to System. Windows is activated. Yep, it activated for us.
Woohoo.
Yeah. And then I'll run the Windows 10 optimizer tool that I have. And this will tune this up all with the click of a button. A friend of mine has a company called D7. He's a programmer. And I said, could you write me a program that does this? He said, I already have a program that does that. I go, yeah, but it does 8 million other things. It's like looking at a cockpit and it's got all these buttons and gauges and dials, and all I'm looking for is the switch to turn the lights on.
You're trying to fly a Piper Cub and he wants to give you a
You just lost me on that. I don't know what a Piper Cub. I guess that's a small plane.
A small plane.
Doesn't it have the same number of
How
dials,
about a
buttons,
crop
and
duster? How about
But
that?
don't they all have the same buttons, dials? You need an altimeter and
Then a 747? I would hope not.
then a glider, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, have you ever flown a glider?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
super fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the controls were an altimeter and a piece of yarn.
Yeah, pretty
And if the
much.
piece of yarn is not straight, then you're not flying. You're flying sideways.
Yeah, if it's like this,
Yeah.
you're on a bank. And it's
Yeah,
like this,
I
you're on
was
a
going
bank.
for a pilot's license, but they kept changing my instructor, and it was expensive, and the instructor would not let me land. And I'm like, the whole point of me doing this today was to practice my landing. He says, well, I don't know you, so I'm not going to let you land. Well, we should have had this discussion before you took my $150. So I stopped and said, well, I'm done with that. That's an expensive hobby. Okay, let's run the optimizer tool. Go here. And here, there is Uncle Carey's Windows 10 optimizer right there. We'll run that. Yes. Close this. Hit apply. And restart. That just puts a lot of settings that I used to do by hand. It's just doing them all for me, so I don't have to worry about forgetting one or forgetting them all, for that matter. My memory is not getting better as I age, I think.
Well,
I'm trying to remember if I used to remember, but I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I
you
used to
forgot whether or
remember
not you
stuff.
remembered?
What were we talking about
also
again?
There's also interruptions. You start doing something, the doorbell rings, you have to go and get a package, and you come back and you go, now where did I leave off?
Yeah, it's like counting money and somebody's shouting random numbers in the background. I have
Not
to start
good.
over again. So now when I run the optimizer, it should tell me everything is tuned. Let's make sure we get that message. Yep, the computer is already fully optimized. That's what I want to see. So we'll close that out and we'll get rid of that because you only have to run it once and it's done its job. And so at this point, what we can do is figure out how we're going to mount this drive in this case, which I'm not sure about since you want to keep the mechanical drive. Oh, and I want to test that mechanical drive to see its health status. And I have that utility also on this flash drive. Let's grab, let's do Crystal Disk Mark.
But it's not hooked up yet.
No, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the software just
Oh,
so
okay.
I have it ready, and then I can remove the
Okay.
flash drive. Let's take a look at what the performance of this SSD is on this motherboard. I'd like to see about at least 500 and change megabytes a second. Let's see what it is. I'm just going to do this row of tests. Oh, 542, that's real good, real good. 560 is about the best you can expect out of a SATA connection on any motherboard ever made. It just, that's the saturation point. So yeah, just jumped to 553. That's better than I was expecting, but it is a Dell XPS. It's not just a regular Dell, it's a higher end, which would explain that. That's what I want to see. Ideally, we'll see something close to that on the right side over here, to the right. We'll hopefully see an identical number. It could be a little slower. Sometimes the writes are a little slower. Looks like it's quite a bit slower, but that's still 4 to 5 times faster than this hard drive you've got. Did you see how fast it booted? Did you notice?
It was quite a bit snappier. Yeah.
So, what is the right side?
We're at 440 right now.
Okay, but what is that saying? What is that telling us?
Well, if you think of it like a speedometer,
Okay.
when it reads data, it'll read it at 550 or 553.4.
There's read and write.
Oh,
And
and the
when it
other's
records
right.
the data, it's recording at a slower speed at 440.4. That's pretty typical, especially on a budget SSD like this. The more expensive SSDs like Samsung's using different type of memory. They have TLC, MLC, SLC, QLC. There's benefits, there's pros and cons to each side with performance, price, and longevity.
This was one of those egg sales that you had mentioned on one of your
Oh,
videos, and I snapped it up.
well, let's watch and see how long this takes to reboot. Let's do start, restart, and let's see what it takes. We'll wait till we get the logo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 19 seconds to the desktop. And that really, you know, there was a long delay between when the BIOS started loading the OS. There was a long delay there. So we could probably tune the BIOS. Let's look and see if there's a BIOS update for this machine. And here's how we're going to do that. I'm going to open up a web browser. And we're going to go to support. We'll just go up here and type in support.dell.com. There we go. And then we enter the service tag number on the back, which is D8RC.
482.
Thank you. And that should pull up this machine. Oh, I gotta look for storefronts. I don't know. Is that a storefront?
Oh, these are crazy, these new ways of...
It's really annoying is what it is.
Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Or my definition may be different than theirs.
Yeah. Drivers and downloads. So let's see what version of BIOS we have now. So I'll go to CPU Z. We'll run this free application. And this will give us that information. Tell us what we've currently got. And we can compare it to what's available and see if what's available is a bigger number, if it's newer. So this tells us all about the CPU on this window. And then we'll go to this tab here. Now we're showing BIOS version, looks like 221, released 12/30 of 2017. So if I look on this screen here, and I can look for BIOS, just say category BIOS. It says it's version, well, I don't know, but it was released 25th of March 2019. That sounds newer than 2017.
Sounds newer to me.
So let's grab that. Now it's really easy to update a BIOS on these store-bought machines because they pretty much make it impossible to screw up.
Oh, I don't know.
Hasn't
They
met
haven't
us
met
yet.
me.
We got skills.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to save it. I didn't want to run it. Download, save. Now I want to run it. Say yes. Okay. There it is. It says 221 is installed and 250 is the current. So we don't need to install all the steps in between. We just go to the current and click OK, and then leave it alone. Just
Hands off.
Bam. Let it do what it needs to do. The worst thing that can happen is that you interrupt it, whether it's a power outage or you get impatient, and then you end up with a bricked machine that won't power on anymore, potentially. So a lot of people, they have a lot of anxiety about this, but I can tell you it was a lot riskier in the 90s. Now they've more or less perfected it, and you can see it's updating right now.
Do not power down your system.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do this on a laptop running off batteries. A lot of times it'll even tell you, until you plug your laptop in, I'm not even going to let you.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah. And then this will help with compatibility to Windows 10. I don't see anything wrong with the system. It seems to have installed everything just fine. So whatever this experience was, still could be a failing hard drive. So while we're waiting, I'm going to go grab a SATA cable.
And in the meantime, we'll continue to entertain the
The masses.
the masses. Hi, masses.
What'd you
Oh,
call
and by
me?
the way, if you found today entertaining and you want to see me do a return visit sometime, make sure you like Carey now,
Yes.
along with my faithful companion here.
Yes, that's what I am. I'm his lovely assistant.
My lovely assistant. Yes. She probably saw me in half.
Ooh.
Ooh,
That
no.
sounds like fun.
No,
Yes.
I don't want to be bifurcated.
Hey, it's a family show.
Yes, but is it the Addams family or the Munsters?
Those are my only two options.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
was thinking the Manson family.
The Manson. Ooh,
It's
But
rebooting.
it just got dark.
That was
yeah.
pretty
The
quick.
Cunninghams. How about the Cunninghams?
Cunningham.
Happy days.
Oh, Mr. C. Gotcha.
Hey, Mr. Oh, by the way, I heard that Georgia Ingalls died.
Yes.
Georgette from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She turned 70 recently, and she just died.
Passed away.
Yeah, I did see that, but I didn't know who she was. Like I remember I thought I remembered the major characters of the Mary
She
Tyler
was the
Moore
one
Show.
who was married to Ted.
Ted Knight. She was
But
Ted,
Ted
Knight's
Knight,
girlfriend.
I always liked Ted Knight.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And
newscaster.
she talked kind of
Really,
like
Mary?
this. She had a really high voice.
She had a high voice.
I
and
don't
she's
remember
very,
her
very
character.
soft-spoken.
I remember
blonde.
Rhoda. Wasn't Rhoda a spinoff of that? Or am I
Rhoda
mixing-
was a spinoff of the Mary Tyler Moore
Yeah.
Show. Yes.
Right. So I remember Rhoda.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think Georgia,
Georgia-
if she was on that, she was just a guest.
She was on it. Oh yeah, and Rhoda. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably just when Rhoda got married. So before she divorced.
And there's people in their 20s and 30s going,
What the heck are
What
they
is he
talking
talking about?
about?
Ted Knight.
what?
Listen, some of the television shows from the 70s were,
Terrible.
and some were awesome. I
The
love
Love Boat?
Well, the Love Boat, awful.
Fantasy
Mary Tyler
Island?
Moore, Fantasy Island,
Mm-hmm.
awful. Mary Tyler Moore, awesome.
$6 Million Man? $6 Million Woman?
Bionic Woman.
Oh, yeah, the
Bionic
bionic woman.
That's
And then
right.
she had to move her hair out of the way to use her bionic ear.
Couldn't get through the hair.
You know, she could hear through walls, but she had to move her hair out of the way to listen.
Well, this latest Superman movie, he had a beard and then he didn't. How does he cut his beard if he can't? Bullets won't go through it. What kind of razor does he use?
His heat ray vision.
On his
yeah.
face?
How do you do
Uh-huh.
that? What, through
Yes.
a mirror?
With a mirror?
Yes, use a
With
mirror.
What if you miss?
Don't.
Somebody walking and go, does it smell like burned hair in here?
It smells like burned Kryptonian hair in here.
Well, this conversation just got really nerdy. All right, so I just verified we have the BIOS update did go correctly. And then I want to delete that BIOS update file because I don't want you going, hey, what's this? And running it again. It's one of those things you do one time and you're done.
One and done.
One and done. Okay, and then we'll just empty that recycle bin and we're going to shut the machine down and I'm going to hook up your mechanical drive.
Ooh.
I love Star Trek and Lost in Space. Boy, Lost in Space was bad.
Lost
So
in Space,
bad.
the first season wasn't as bad.
Oh, my
By the time they got to the color seasons, the Great Vegetable Rebellion, I would submit that is one of the worst television shows ever.
Shane and I met because of Star Trek.
Yes,
Have we
we
told
did.
you how we met? Have we told
Well,
you
you
that
didn't
story?
tell them.
Well, do you guys want to hear the story?
Yes, we do. We're going to assume
Here,
you
wait,
do.
let me get back on the main camera here.
So
There we
Shane and I met because I moved to Phoenix from Philadelphia, and my family was rather poor, and we had to take. Let's put it this way: we lost our house before it was really cool to do so.
Yes,
like
yes,
in
before it was
2008.
cool.
Well before 2008.
You lost your house before
It was cool to do so. Anyway, so
It's sad, but it's funny.
It was true. Anyway, so we moved out here, 6 people, 5 cats, everything we owned, and we drove across the country
In a station
in a
wagon.
station wagon. It was green. But that meant we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. And my mom and I had been really big Star Trek fans. And of course, in 1979, 1980, we were obviously fans of the original series. And so we drove out here. And
From where?
From Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Hmm.
All right.
And I got involved with a science fiction group here, and
The United Federation
Federation
of
of
Phoenix, the Star Trek Club.
which still exists from what I can
Yeah.
tell. Anyway, so Shane and I, he was at an auction. They were doing an auction at a mutual friend's house for Star Trek memorabilia. And
To benefit the club.
it was actually to benefit the Crisis Nursery. So it was
Oh,
even more important
okay.
than the club. Anyway, so my mom and I went. I was 16 at this point, so I was rather young. And yes, you can tell Shane is a bit older than me. And we, I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so we were bidding.
A bit
on
older or just like way older?
7 years old.
7,
I'm
not
7
too
years old.
much, not too much. 7 years older. And by the time you're
Robbing
my
the
age and
cradle.
his age, it's like nothing. Well, it did look like that at first because I looked like I was 12.
Well, I want to just interject something here.
Uh-huh.
For you people out there with the dirty minds, she was 16, but we did not start dating until she was 20.
No, I believe you.
Okay?
Okay.
What
Nobody
do you
else
mean?
will.
Wait,
You know, when
didn't
somebody says, I believe you, you think they
No,
don't
no,
believe you.
I totally believe you.
So
I'm
the
sure
rest
that's
of the story
sure
was,
that's exactly the way
that's
you want
exactly
it to be
what
told.
happened. So the rest of the
course it
story
is.
is I was bidding on things. Shane was bidding on things.
But I was bidding with the idea to bring more money in for the auction.
But I didn't have a lot of money. I was just trying to buy back some of the things that I had to leave at home.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to buy back some of my own, but not my own stuff, but things that I had.
Used to have.
Copies. Yeah.
Now remember your language when you tell.
Yes, because this is a family-friendly show. So my mother was there with me, and he's bidding things up. So he goes into the mutual friend's house who was hosting she goes into their kitchen, and she goes, "Who is that?" And she used an unpleasant word. I'm not going to say which one, describing Shane, and their friends laughed, and that's how we met Shane. So basically, my mother thought he was a complete not nice guy.
Jerk.
A complete not nice
Can we say
guy.
jerk?
We can substitute jerk.
Okay. And anyway.
And now?
I'm sorry?
Does she still think he's a jerk?
My mom is gone, but she started when she loved him more than she loved me, I think.
Wow. All right. Well done, Shane.
Yes, he won her over. So 4 years later, he invited himself to my graduation party, and from ASU, and not high school.
She was graduating from ASU, and the friends from the previous encounter were going to her graduation, and I was with them, and I said, "What are you guys doing the rest of the day?" And they said, "We're going over to Lauren Rapp's graduation party." And I said, "Oh, do you think she'd mind if I came along?" And they said, "Well, let's find out." And they called her, and her mom said, "No, I don't think so. How about Lori? What do you think?" And Lori said, "No, that's fine." So I went with them to this party and talked to her, and
that was pretty much it. You know, we won't get into the next part, but we started dating, and he started about a month later. He started introducing me to all of his friends that I didn't already know.
This is my betrothed. She didn't know that at the time, though. I let her know that we were engaged by introducing her that way.
So that's pretty much been it.
And no regrets?
No regrets.
First year was
First
a little
year
rough.
tough, but
It's supposed to be the other way around. First year's supposed to be the best.
No.
No, we had
didn't work that way.
to get used to each other.
Yeah.
Mostly, I had to get used to having a roommate. I never had one before.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah. It's,
So anyway, yeah, 30. We just celebrated our 33rd anniversary a couple weeks ago.
that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, you obviously were meant for each other.
I think so.
If that's just a line he's making you say, you just blink twice
Okay.
if you need help.
See, my hands are up here.
The BIOS in this was set up incorrectly, and I didn't check it, so I have to reinstall Windows again from scratch. But luckily, that only takes a moment, so it'll just take a minute or two for me to. I'm just going to wipe the partition on this drive and do it with. It was in a RAID configuration, a RAID controller, even though RAID wasn't enabled, the controller was. And so I'm putting in AHCI mode, and that should make it boot even faster. So we're going to take the time to do it right, even though it means we have to do it twice. But as long as I don't have to do it a third time, it's a good lesson to be learned. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping it this way. It just won't be optimal. And since we're here chit-chatting anyway, it just takes a minute. You saw how fast Windows 10 installs. The difference now is because this drive is no longer fresh from the factory, it's got an operating system on it, I have to remove all the partitions off that drive. And so for people that want to know, what if I want to do a clean install on a drive that's not brand new? You have to remove the current partitions. You'll notice I disconnected the hard drive right now that I just hooked up because I don't want to accidentally erase the partitions off the wrong drive. So by having one drive hooked up, I don't have to worry about making that mistake again. So we'll hit next here and install now. So it's the same process as before. And it's going to come up with the end user license agreement. And I'm going to choose custom. I'm going to do everything the same, except when it comes to choosing the drive, it's now going to show me at least two partitions where there were no partitions the first time. So here's our end user license agreement. I have to accept the terms, whether I like it or not. I choose custom. Yeah, and there's our two partitions. So right down here it says delete, bearing in mind that this will erase everything on the drive, which is not a problem for us because
There's nothing on the drive.
But if people are following along, you better make sure you have anything important off that drive before you follow these two steps, which is to delete that partition and delete that partition. And now that just leaves the drive back in the condition it was when it was new out of the box. And I hit next. And now Windows 10 is going to partition and format and install Windows on that drive automatically while we wait. That's the process. It's pretty straightforward.
I missed something. Is this that drive right there, the new drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
That's why there was nothing on it to worry about.
Initially. Well, oh yeah, now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just put Windows 10 on it.
Yeah.
And you know, if I had gone through all those steps for optimization, I'd have to go through all that again. But since my little optimizer tool does it for me, it's really no big deal to just grab those updates again.
I think we're a distraction.
Me distracted? That never happens. That never happens. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat room here. So there's other ways that I could have accomplished getting into this AHCI mode, but they're far too technical. I like to keep my channel simple for regular folks to easily understand, and letting Windows just install the correct way the first time is better than starting off with a repair on a clean install. I don't like sending you home after going through the trouble of, you know, bringing the machine in and then doing a clean install and having to repair a clean. I just want to do a clean install the right way. And so it only takes a minute. It's not a big deal. A couple of contributions that came in. We'll give some shouts out here to some folks. We've got £5 came in from Colin Hunt. Thank you, Colin. Ruben M contributed $5. He goes, "There's Carey, always keeping it real. Like these YouTubers always doing it for the views." Oh no, I'm doing it for the views. I just wish I got more views keeping it real. Apparently, if my dog goes ruh ruh ruh, I'll get more videos or views than if I teach people something that's actually useful in life.
So have you thought about like having one camera that's just a dog camera?
The dog cam? Well, no, because he moves.
How about if you put
Look, I think he's chasing.
GoPros on both of the dogs?
He's chasing bunnies. Yeah, they'll just make you nauseous. Trust me. All you're going to see is dog butt all day. Jamie M has contributed £5. Says, "Great stream as usual. Might be worth checking to make sure the BIOS is in UEFI mode." Ah, yeah, we should probably check that.
Okay,
I just saw that.
What is that mode?
Just what I just did.
That's just what
I
he did.
didn't
Exactly
see the
what you're
comment
talking
until
about.
after I did it.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
What does UEFI stand for?
Universal Extensible Firmware Interface, something like that. I don't know. Does that clear it up at all?
And how would anybody know that? I mean, other than you guys, because you know.
Well, all you want to know is UEFI is preferred, and if it's not selected, selected. I mean, do you know what VHS stands for?
Very
No?
hard
No.
system.
No. Well, system is right.
Variable.
No. So you didn't have to know what that meant
Yeah,
to know what it is.
I know what beta stands for. It comes right after alpha.
Well, that doesn't stand
Beta
for
max.
anything. That means
Beta
that's what
max.
that's its position in line.
Yeah. Well,
Let's not confuse
they're
anagrams.
both gone now.
I know people that have them.
But how many people go down to their local
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster and pick up a VHS
Yeah.
tape for
I think there's one Blockbuster store left, and it's in Alaska.
Alaska?
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
a hell of a drive.
Yeah, and those return fees. Whew,
You.
they'll get you.
Yeah. Just ask Leonard.
Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. That's from Keith W. There you go. I mean, that's
Thank
pretty good
you.
for off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's how much of a nerd I am. All right, let's see how we're doing on our install here. Yeah, this should boot faster once we get that installed. Steve Devine's just contributed $2. He says, "Here's for another Coke." And Gary Whitaker has it correct. Video home system is correct.
All right.
You'd think it'd be home video system, but I think because it's made in Japan. I think the translation, I don't know.
I get
If it could be
you. I
HVS,
getcha.
it would make more sense.
Yeah.
But you could go to, you climb in your 4x4, hit the ATM, enter your PIN, so you can rent a DVD or a VHS to watch on your HD TV or watch your DVR. And we know what all this means, even though we may not know what any of it means.
You might be too young to remember some of the other systems besides Beta and VHS. The Quasar Great Time Machine, for instance. Do you remember that one?
I know Quasar, but I don't know what the Great Time Machine
They
is.
had a tape that was about this big, and that had a round portion in the middle. When you put the tape in, it would lower over the head that would fit up in the middle of the tape.
Yeah.
And that's why you've never heard of it before. It came and went very quickly.
I bet when it ate the tape, that was a mess to clean up.
3/4 inch was pretty much standard before
Yeah.
the 1/2 inch machines started coming out.
The last Blockbuster is in Bend, Oregon. The one in Alaska closed.
Oh, well, even closer. Less of a drive.
You could
If you
actually
don't mind
drive
the
there.
rain.
Yeah, you could actually drive there, as opposed to Alaska.
Tell me again about your vision and drive into Bend, Oregon. You can actually drive
This
there.
is my driver.
He cannot drive there.
All right.
Don't worry, anybody who lives in Phoenix. I'm not letting him
I was
drive
worried about
right
the people
now.
who lived in anywhere in Oregon that he
Right.
thought might be Bend, Oregon. Are we in Bend, Oregon yet? You're in
Can't see it.
Seattle.
Can't see the signs. You tell me.
You're in the Columbia River.
That's not good.
Whoops. How did I make it to
Recalculating.
Columbia? No.
Recalculating.
Recalculating. All right, let's see what's going to happen this time. Did I miss another contribution? Somebody contributed $20. How did I not see that?
Woo!
$20.
$20.
13 Grand's Tech Guy has contributed $20. Thank you for that. And Donnie Seeger contributed $2. He says, "What's up?" So when are you guys doing improv again? When's the next show?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah?
They're doing a show.
Are you guys, so you guys have your own troupe, right?
Yeah, we're in a couple troops, but the troupe that's performing on Saturday is called Adult Bakery. And
It's a lot of food-related troupes. Aren't
Yeah.
you guys tofu?
Tofu fillet. Yeah, she's tofu. I'm fillet.
I'm very motivated by food.
Wow,
We're also in a group called Less Than Three. There are 4 of us.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
I know, we're very much
Yes.
a liar.
It's
But
like the Thompson twins
Think
all
of
over
it.
again.
Think of it this way. Let's see.
That's 5.
Okay.
That's still 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it
if this is a V,
it says I think it's the other way. Yeah, whatever.
No,
Anyway,
I
the
think-
idea
yeah.
is
Don't flash your gang symbols on my
Yeah.
channel.
it's supposed to be a less than symbol and 3.
3.
Oh.
But that was a long time ago that we developed that. And there used to be 8 of us, and now there's 4. So
Ooh, it's brutal. You guys vote each other out at a.
attrition.
no,
No.
people moved away.
You don't have like a tribal council
No.
when you bring your torch and when your flame is out.
We haven't had to throw
When
anybody
your
out
flame
of
is
any
gone,
troop
so
that
are
we're in.
you.
No, we haven't done that. We haven't tossed anybody out.
We've had to.
Well, I could be the first.
We have had to have some words with some people about certain actions.
Well, isn't that what improv is having words with
Yes.
people?
Yes,
True. Yeah.
exactly.
Having words.
See, you've got the
Improv, wherever you guys are, improv is the funnest thing, and you should find improv wherever you are and do it.
no matter where you
Even
go.
if you don't do it, just go to the.
Go
Sometimes
and watch shows. It's
some
such-
people feel like I couldn't do that, but they can appreciate people that are
Yeah,
quick-witted to.
Go watch it. It's super fun.
If you in your local area have a free drop-in, just go to experience it.
Yeah.
Very often they give you an overview of what a level 1 class is like, but it helps people with public speaking,
Yeah.
just
Communication in
communication.
general, getting out of your head. So if you have to do presentations at work or something like that, it'll help you with that, being able to speak a little bit more extemporaneously. And it's just a lot of fun. And as you said, it's kind of therapeutic. So
Yeah, and of course it's something you work at. You're not going to go there and get over your fear of public
No,
speaking in
no,
one
no.
session.
no,
But the
it's-
more you do it, like anything
Mhm.
else, the easier it gets. And sometimes you can I remember this comedian. He goes, I remember when I was a kid, and I remember seeing Richard Pryor perform, and I went, I could do that. It makes it out like it's an inspiring story.
Yeah.
But I think you'll find, like, when you go, like, it's that way for me for a lot of things. I don't give myself enough credit for what I can do. I'm not that good at it. You see that guy over there? He's in charge. I'm like, but that guy's an idiot. I guess I know more than that guy. Can I be in charge?
Yeah.
So that the improv, for me, it is getting out of my own head. Because once I can relax, everything, you let it just flow, and it's just funny, and there's really no judgment. I mean, you can bomb all day long. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Which is very different than stand-up.
Yeah. You don't want to bomb in stand-up.
I think you've had the personal experience where stand-up.
Excuse me? Personal experience of bombing? How dare you?
Let me qualify this. Stand-up audiences are different from improv audiences in that a stand-up audience very often will not give you the benefit of the doubt. An improv audience wants you to succeed. They want you to do well.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you get hecklers at stand-up, and that can be really rough.
Yeah, we've rarely. I mean, I've had as many, if not more, opportunities to stink on stage than I have to be good on stage. I mean, I will say, I would say that it's at least 50% are decent and 50%, what did I just do? But the audience is always there to support. And that's what I think is so cool.
Yeah.
And it's a team sport. That's what I love about improv. It's a team sport.
There's no I in team.
That's right.
I love to give these
There's no I in you either.
deep thoughts. Yes, well.
Or in alone, or by myself. There's no I in any of that.
Anyway.
Just saying.
Oh!
Well,
somebody a Coke.
Speaking of which, you guys need anything?
No, we're
I'm
still good.
I think
you.
it's time. It's time.
It's time for the new Coke.
Shane, you both generously brought me some Mexican Coke with real sugar. It's had some time to chill now in the refrigerator, so I think it's a good year.
It's the optimum temperature. Cold.
I will be the sommelier. Not a Somali. Not like,
Hey.
I'm the captain of the ship now.
The bouquet.
It's a good year. I'm going to let it breathe. That's enough. It's definitely a little sweeter than the high fructose corn syrup used in American Coke. Takes a little getting used to after a while. It's a little Pepsi-ish, if I dare say so.
In Epcot, there is it's Coke, right?
Yes.
There's a Coca-Cola pavilion there where they have various fountains set up where you can get sodas from around the world, like a celery flavored soda, and
they have dill pickle soda now.
Yeah, dill pickle everything.
Dill pickle everything?
Everything I turn around, there's
except for pickles.
Except I saw dill pickle. What's that sponge sugar stuff?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy.
Okay.
Well, that just sounds delicious. If I'm not there, start without me.
Talk about your sweet and salty.
It did not look good. And then one restaurant, I guess it's go low carb, they made a pickle sandwich, so they put the sandwich on the pickle.
Well, I guess that's so you can get your gluten.
Yes.
Let's
Get
see.
your big cucumber with some meat in the middle.
Well, that's very British, isn't it? Cucumber sandwich.
I like a good old cucumber sandwich.
I've never had a cucumber sandwich. I've had cucumbers and I've had sandwiches, but I've never had a cucumber sandwich.
It's usually got cream cheese and cucumbers.
That's a weird combination. Cream cheese and cucumbers?
Oh, yeah.
Cream cheese and bagels.
And cucumber.
Cream cheese and jalapenos fried in a wonton. Ooh. You guys are making me hungry.
You're
Stop it.
getting hungry.
Right.
Dr.
Sorry.
Smith has contributed to Dr. Smith.
Oh, William, the pain.
Danger.
Danger, Will Robinson.
He says, for the help Torgo KAH et al. I don't know what that means.
Catch them all like Pokemon?
I don't think that's what he means.
Okay.
Dogaz56 contributed $5. Says, here's a 6-pack for you of Coke. Well, thank you. Michael Dane contributed $5. Says, have a Coke on a Dane. Don't forget your pizza.
Oh, have a Coke on a Dane.
On Dane.
On Dane.
On a Dane.
On a Dane. On Dane.
Yes.
Dane.
Yeah.
Dang!
Dang!
Thank you guys so much for your support and contribution. And how are we doing on our updates? We're just very much a sense of deja vu at this point.
All over again.
Practice, practice, practice.
This
You
is
think
this is so I'll learn. Oh, look, somebody said they saw an ad for pickle flavor Peeps. Yep.
And Clay Stevens is getting pickled.
Oh, I was watching YouTube and they took various flavored Peeps and they would make a Rice Krispie marshmallow treat with each color separate, and then they put all of them together and let the whole thing set up, and then they had colored layers of Rice Krispie treats.
I think I just threw up a little in my mouth.
Yes, well, if you didn't have sugar diabetes before, you certainly would afterward.
Oh, KAH is Catherine Anna Hauserman. I get it. I get it. Iron Brew. You ever had Iron Brew? It's the best-selling carbonated soda in Scotland. So outsells Coke and Pepsi.
What's the base flavor?
Well, they would advertise it as rust because it's orange.
Carbonated
color.
rust. Mmm.
It would say made from girders. But then they changed
Better
the food
than-
labeling laws, so they couldn't call it Iron Brew, B-R-E-W, so they call it IRNBRU. It's the same product. It's basically orange creamsicle soda. It's very sweet.
Have you tried the Coke Vanilla Orange?
I have no interest in that.
Don't. Well, good.
I wasn't gonna.
Good. I had one and not good.
No.
Not a good combo.
Why would I?
I
ruin
like
it?
creamsicle. I like 50-50 bars, but this was not anything like that. Did not taste good.
No, I like a drink to be more bitter. I don't want it more sweet. I'm a bitter kind of guy, you know. I like. That's why I prefer Coke over Pepsi. Pepsi's a sweeter drink, so much prefer. Like I've been on a Canada Dry kick lately. Get that ginger ale. It's just nice and bitter.
Do you prefer that over Werner's?
Well, I am obligated
Contractually?
because I'm from Michigan that nothing is better than Werner's.
Okay.
But Werner's is just a vanilla flavored ginger ale. But there's times when I'm just not in the mood for that. And so I'll have Canada Dry. I like Canada Dry better than Seagram's ginger ale. I tried that
agree with
Zevia
that.
drink and that Zevia drink. Ooh.
Ooh, that I don't like that.
We've discovered we like Canada Dry ginger ale mixed with V8. 50-50.
Yeah, it sounds too healthy for me.
It's tasty.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
Yeah, anything that's healthy though, I try to avoid it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just kind of a rule I have. I'm a rebel. Now, if you could deep fry that V8, I might be
If
interested.
there was some Tabasco sauce in it. if you
Oh,
want.
Tabasco. I see now. Now it's getting interesting. I don't mind spicy. And that was a very big change coming from Detroit because nobody eats anything spicy in Detroit.
Are you saying that Detroit food is mostly bland?
No, it's not bland. It's not bland at all. It's mostly very much Midwestern barbecue style soul food, fried barbecue chicken, fried chicken, barbecue ribs, barbecue steak. It's very Midwestern, but it's not like here where it's how hot can we get it? And I don't mean hot like hot off the grill. I mean hot like let's put
spicy.
some habanero peppers on that.
Let's make your taste buds burn out.
Like in Michigan, I never heard of a jalapeno. You know what I'm saying?
A jalapeno?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the closest thing I got to that was Speedy Gonzalez and Pepe Le Pew. That was the closest I got to any sort of cultural change.
The first you can't do anymore. The second one you can still do.
I don't think so. I think one is.
No, you can insult the French. Except maybe not.
No, I don't think that the girl trying to get away from the aggressive guy
Yeah.
is
That's true.
culturally acceptable
Yeah.
That's
anymore.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Agreed.
I grant you that.
Yeah. In fact, my buddy came out from Canada and I just wanted to know, Canada Dry, is it? It's really bothering me. I don't know the answer. The reason I bought the Canada Dry is I saw it in glass bottles that were about this big. And you see, I drink pretty slowly and my drinks tend to get warm before I finish them.
And you figured
So
a
I saw
bottle
this
that
little
big
glass
is not
bottle. That's perfect for me, and
Yeah.
I
I've
can
never
drink
seen
it at
that.
night because it doesn't have any caffeine in it, but I still get the bubbles. I get the carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
So I really didn't care for it. Like, to me, it was all about the bottle. It fit in my hand well. The bottle stayed cold, and by the time I would finish it, it was still cold. It was. So I would go and get these bottles, and they're hard to find, the little glass bottles. And there's a weight to it, you know. I just like the feel of it. And then I started craving Canada Dry. Then I couldn't find little bottles, but I saw they make the little tiny cans, and I'm like, oh, that'll be great. Same thing. So I get the little tiny
6
cans.
ounce cans.
I don't know what size they are. They're small. Got one in here. It's just a little tiny
This is like an 8 ounce.
7.5 ounce.
Ounces, yeah.
But
Not
you can
even
see
8.
They're so cute.
It's just a little tiny can. And these are like $2.50 for a 6-pack at Walmart. But for $3, you can get twice as much, right? With the regular.
Yeah, and then you can just close it
But
up.
the problem is, I'll get about halfway or a third of the way down, and it gets warm, and I have to close it back up, go get a cold one out of the fridge, and swap them. And by the morning, if whatever I haven't drank between the two,
It's flat.
it's flat.
I have to.
But
do
it
that
still
with
costs
water.
less
Yeah.
than the
Of
little
course, you
cans.
could go with if you went with the economy of scale, you'd get a 2-liter bottle and pour it into a double-walled cylinder that keeps it cold.
Yeah, but I don't want to drink that much.
Well, you
And the
don't have
carbonation
to fill it all
doesn't
the way up.
last. Yeah, but the
Put
carbonation
that
doesn't
much
last
in.
out of a 2-liter. I won't buy 2-liter bottles because you've got to pretty much finish it the day you open it. I don't
Yes.
need that kind of pressure.
Well, Lord punished me because
You're like, what's the
I
problem?
do drink a 2-liter
He
bottle
drinks a lot
of soda.
of soda. He shouldn't. That's all I'm saying.
What is your go-to?
Diet Mountain Dew.
Diet Mountain Dew. Not Diet Dr. Pepper. I hear that's good. I won't touch it, but I heard.
Just Dr. Pepper's not my top flavor. I remember going back, way back when Mountain Dew was only sugared and only came in glass bottles.
Yeah.
12-ounce glass bottles. One of those kind you put your money in the vending machine.
Well, you can still get
and-
it, can't you?
Oh, I think you can, but I only buy it in the diet.
Not only in the not in a 2-liter glass bottle.
No,
No,
no, 2-liter
That'd be
plastic.
pretty heavy.
that'd break a toe if you dropped it.
Yeah. And mess.
Canada Dry and vodka. I've never tried that before. People have asked if I put whiskey in my Coke. I'm like, why would I ruin a perfectly good Coke with Jack Daniels or something? And I guess that's a thing, but it just tastes nasty. But
I don't know.
vodka and Canada Dry, that could work because vodka's not.
Isn't
It's not whiskey.
Unless you buy a flavored vodka, it's not going to impart much in the way of difference.
Yeah, but
Flavor.
it's gonna give that alcohol sting to it though. Oh, let's see. If there's a Dr. Pepper, is there a Dr. Salt?
It says updates failed
Oh, does it say it failed? Or is it?
at the top on this thing.
I thought it's still working.
Maybe it's only some updates failed.
Can't install because other updates are in progress. Okay. Usually it gives me an option to start again, but I don't. Oh, here it is. It's all the way at the bottom.
There's just so many of them.
Yeah. Got to learn to use the scroll wheel. That's what I have to do.
Should be a
Maybe in
big
another-
blinking arrow saying more below.
Just need a bigger screen,
Well,
smaller font.
that's right. Get yourself a nice 70-inch screen.
Or maybe just put it in 4K and just make everything really super tiny. Just get some big glasses. Vodka and Coke for me. I see it now. That doesn't sound good either. Vodka and cranberry juice. That's fine. I can handle that. Vodka and orange juice. Fine, no problem. But rum and soda, no, it just ruins the soda. All right, somehow we got on food. Let me just look in the chat. So if anybody has any technical questions while we're waiting for updates, I'd be more than happy to do my best to answer them. And of course, many other people in the chat room are smarter than me and can answer your question as well, I'm sure.
You're smarter than the average bear.
I did not steal that picnic basket.
Mr. Ranger's
not
not
gonna like that very
Yogi.
much, Yogi. Let me do.
Sorry, you do boo-boo.
Wow.
Sorry, I stepped on her boo-boo.
And there comes the cease and desist letter from Hanna-Barbera. Two-liter bottles last a little longer when they lie down in the fridge compared to standing up. Who does this? Who says, I think I'm going to try laying it down?
To see if
I mean, physics. Isn't the physics the same? The same amount of air is in the bottle, whether it's standing up or laying down.
No, what you could do
It doesn't make any
is
sense.
evacuate the air.
Oh, I can't be
You pour
bothered
it
with
out.
that much
You
effort.
got that much air in it, right? You
And you get one of
squeeze
those
the bottle,
pumps.
get the liquid level, put the cap back on.
To save a nickel? No. No. I will dump the flat stuff down the sink. It's good here in America. I can afford the nickel.
I find my method of just drinking the entire 2-liter bottle in one day works best.
Is that what your
know.
kidney said?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I am on dialysis now.
Are you really?
Yes, but it's not because of
No, that's
it's
not because of
diet
that.
soda.
How often do you go in for dialysis?
I do what's called peritoneal dialysis.
What does that mean?
I have here a tube connected to a catheter which was surgically inserted, and
It's like
that
a stunt. What do they call it? A
is-
stint?
no,
It's more of a catheter.
it's more of a
tube.
catheter. It goes into my peritoneum, and that acts like my kidneys do. And overnight, I'm hooked to a machine
While you sleep?
that's gives me a solution of sucrose that is
Dextrose.
dextrose. I'm sorry, dextrose that's pumped in to my peritoneum that carries away the waste when it's pumped out 2 hours later,
That's insane.
and that's done 4 times a night.
And you're just, was it a machine you have at home?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't have to go anywhere for
No,
it?
he
No.
did in the
I
beginning.
did do hemodialysis initially, and that was 3 times a week, and that was 6 hours each time.
Now, is there a plan for this to stop?
I have. I'm trying to get on a kidney.
Well, he's on the kidney donor. He's on a kidney list.
Yeah,
Um,
and Lori is testing because she can't donate a kidney because we're the
To
different
him.
blood type. But what she's doing is what's called a chain donation, whereby she's tested to be a donor. She donates to somebody else, and somebody else down the chain who
Donates to
has one that's compatible with me gets donated to me.
I didn't know they did that. Sort of an I scratch your back, you
Yeah.
scratch my deal.
yeah, it is. So right now I'm in the middle of the testing.
So 2 people get helped instead of 1.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
4.
Or yeah,
5.
exactly.
It can be. They were
Sure,
showing
but-
me it could be a full chain,
Wow.
and so I'm
And
just
probably
waiting.
your odds of getting a donor better that way, right?
Yes, definitely improves it. And it's a live donor, and
A live donor is better than a cadaver
live donor
donor
is
Why?
better than
because a cadaver kidney won't last as long as a live donation kidney.
and so the person who asked, is the dialysis due to complications from diabetes? It is.
What else would it be due to?
It can. You can get kidney. You can have other kidney things that'll cause your kidneys to fail. You could have kidney cancer. You could have so the other things that could go wrong with your kidney.
So when did this all start?
About the same time that I had my triple bypass.
Holy smokes. You've had some issues.
I've had some issues. I had a triple bypass.
So if you were born like 100 years earlier, you'd be dead.
Yes.
Well, I guess either way.
Yeah. So
Maybe even
yeah.
50
Didn't
years.
really-
Yeah.
Maybe
didn't
even
really
50
think that
years.
through.
So anyway, that's where we're at right now. So I'm going through Mayo. They've been really lovely.
Oh, well, you can't get better than Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, they've been really lovely. It's just I still have one more test.
Do you guys have to go all the way out to Scottsdale?
I have been going out to Scottsdale.
Not only Scottsdale, but she's had to go out to the Fountain Hills.
Well, that's
Mayo
the
Clinic.
other one's in Phoenix. So there's Scottsdale one and there's one in Phoenix. So the one in Phoenix is on 56th Street. That's the Phoenix one. And there's one way out on 130th Avenue.
That's
Not
almost a
that
Fountain
anybody
Hills.
doesn't
Well, you
live
could
here.
go to Saguaro
Thank
Lake while you're out
you.
there. Matt Foster has contributed 5 pounds. Cheers to good health for Shane and Lori.
Thank
you.
you so much.
That's nice.
Yeah, so we're seeing. I'm crossing my fingers. I've been checking my phone because I did a test yesterday. That was a retest. I'm looking to see if they.
Well, if you were a computer, I'd just rip you open and replace your SSD.
Yes, well that's good.
Yes.
Oh, good.
But
At this
makes a
point,
bigger mess in the kitchen. My wife doesn't like it.
at this point, the only thing that seems to have no troubles is the brain. But they haven't figured out a way
Well, they
to
haven't
just.
talked to you about that yet. Damn it.
Man.
I didn't mean to bring that up.
So
I'm so embarrassed.
You know, this is our push that if you aren't an organ donor, please be an organ donor. Even if being a live organ donor isn't for you, if something were to happen to you and your organs were good, please give them to somebody.
It's like people think I'm going to be in an accident, right? And I'll be lying in the road, and they're going to look at my license, and it says organ donor, yes. And they're going to think, I could save him, but we really need those kidneys.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
no, that's not the case.
Right? So they're like, I'm not checking that box because I want to make sure they save me.
I want to mention something else. Lori at one point tried to be a liver donor for a friend of ours. And she went through all this testing, and she got 3/4 of the way through when they determined that her lobe that she would be left, because the liver's got 2 lobes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The lobe that she would be left would be too small to function properly.
Yeah.
So they denied her donating. He fortunately got another donation.
You know, there was a high school principal recently in the news that donated, I think, a kidney to a student, and he didn't survive the surgery.
Oh.
And you think, gosh, that's just like the worst possible. Somebody was perfectly healthy. It's a fairly safe procedure, but there can be complications.
Which is one of the reasons why when she started talking about doing the chain donation for me,
he's going to get emotional. But
I'm concerned about her, and
yeah, of course.
But you can also get killed in a car accident. So
yeah, but not necessarily.
But you may not plan it. You know, like I'm going to go out today and get killed in a car accident.
Yeah, it's true. But I think that's why Mayo does. Mayo does some major testing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had CT scans. I'm having an MRI on Saturday. I've had heart tests. I've had everything. I mean, if nothing else, it's the best medical exam you're ever going to have.
It's like more than physical.
Oh,
it makes
Wasn't
it
that a
physical. More than
plus
physical.
you have to have had all your cancer screenings before that.
Sure,
So you had to have a colonoscopy. And if they had told me that I had to have another one before I could do this, I was going to tell them, no, never mind. But you know, you have to.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Something for you to look forward to, right, Carey?
I'm supposed to get that done this year at some point.
Yeah, I do recommend it. It's, you know, very exciting.
Because then you'll have.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought the blue gloves. I've been practicing. Just putting the gloves on.
Yeah.
Just that part.
Step 1. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step.
Yeah, I don't want them going in 1,000 miles. Yeah, that's too far.
Ooh.
That's too deep. All right, so now I have updated Windows. Let's make sure. Okay, so I want to take out the flash drive, and we'll put in
Optimizer.
That's right.
See, I remembered.
You are a good student.
I'm trying to
Gold
learn.
star for you.
Thank you. Since Shane can't see very well, I have to do all the computer repairs in the house, and Shane's sister's computer. I'm constantly repairing hers. So.
Well, don't put me out of work. This is all I have.
Believe me, you would rather not have to deal with my sister.
No, that's not something you want to do.
So I guess she's not watching today's broadcast.
No.
Surprise! I got a special guest in. We brought your sister in.
No!
She's been backstage the whole time.
Oh boy.
No, she's just a little less computer savvy, so
Yeah.
it's a little more challenging to.
Sure. Yeah.
Boy, are
I'm
you
being
nice.
So it's a little harder to try to get.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it. I know.
So.
People do the best they can from their perspective.
I always love it when you tell stories from repairs where you talk about I had to
from the
go,
trenches.
tech trenches, where you have to talk about the expectations of a client, the reality of the situation, and how those things very often do not meet up.
Yeah, it's sort of like putting a puzzle together. You're like, all right, so we're over here. Customer thinks they're over there. And you sort of have to find this diplomatic means of explaining it in a constructive way that hopefully isn't condescending and also isn't filled with jargon that means nothing to them and makes them feel stupid, and then help to justify the bill, right? You go, well, I hate it when a customer says, can you look at my system? I'm sure it's something simple. That's my first warning that it's not going to be something simple.
Why, if you're that
Like if
simple,
you
why
think it's
wouldn't
that
you
simple,
just fix
why
it?
don't you just fix it? That's exactly what I say. I'll say, well, if you got it, you don't need me. They're like, well, I'm sure for you it's simple. Oh man, the red alert.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That's it.
Most
If that didn't fix it, then it's not simple.
Most of the time, the things that Shane's sister that need fixing are she's put in downloaded something unfortunate that I've had to,
Sounds like she needs Mac or Linux.
Yeah, well, and so that may be some of it, and she doesn't do a lot of that, or it truly is just operator error. Or the last time it was literally her CenturyLink service got cut off somewhere, and that's why it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so I went over there, I'm unplugging and plugging and pushing and pulling, and then we just called CenturyLink and they sent somebody over and fixed it.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing we could do.
Nothing you could do at that point.
Yeah.
If you're not getting internet coming into the building, it isn't going to do any good.
All right, let's take a look here at what's going on in the chat room.
Now you're talking about the difference between Coke and Pepsi. And somebody mentioned Dr. Pepper. I wonder how many Mr. Pibb fans there are out there.
Someone said they were a Pibb fan. I saw that go by.
Sorry, Carey, but a colostomy, I think that's not what they meant to say, is one of the most dehumanizing experiences.
Colonoscopies are not fun.
Well, colostomy is different than a colonoscopy.
Yes.
I think a colonoscopy, don't they give you something to dope you up?
And when you're actually having the colonoscopy done, you're out.
You're out,
Yeah.
right? So it's
It's
just
the
the night
prep.
before,
It's
right?
it's the clean through.
Hey, but then I should
Beforehand.
be able to run faster, because isn't that how it works at the horse races? You bet on the one that just took a dump before the race. That's the fast
Okay.
horse.
I didn't know
So
that
I'm
was
just
a thing.
thinking I'm going to be faster.
There you go. For how long though? Until your next meal. There you go.
Will it count as weight loss? I mean, if stuff's coming out, nothing's going in. That's.
Surprisingly,
I mean, the reason why many people who are overweight are overweight, I've figured this out. It's because this hole here is much bigger than
the other
hole.
one, yeah.
Generally speaking, most of the
I can't
time.
think of any situation where that might be different, but okay.
I just know a few people.
Or he knows
I can
people.
introduce you to a few people.
No, that's okay. I think I
Okay.
want
All right. Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, okay.
oh, that was interesting. Somebody had posted that starting next year in the UK, they assume you're a donor, an organ donor, unless you say you're not.
You have to
You have to
opt out.
I like
That's
that.
interesting.
I like that. So, I mean, what am I going to do with my organs after I'm gone anyway?
Well, we were setting up a
W.
museum.
Keith W. is saying, I'll tell you what, if there's somebody acting up in the chat, let's either have Catherine take care of it, or who else knows me really well in here? Catherine can remove people if Catherine deems they're breaking the rules. So you guys can talk to Catherine, because I can't do both things at the same time. But thank you for not doing that yourself, and for bringing it to my attention. I just can't see what's been removed, and I'll let Catherine take care of that if she wouldn't mind. Okay, so now I've got indexing turned off, and now I'm going to go ahead and shut this back down, and we're going to go back to where we were, which is Windows is activated, Windows is updated, everything's running well. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to hook your mechanical drive back up, and then I'll run Crystal Disk Info on it, see the health of the drive, and see if we have anything to worry about there. Sort of a colonoscopy for the computer. We're just going to give it a big enema here.
Ooh!
And should be running clearly in no time. Back and better than ever.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Sue says, I've had bowel cancer, post-surgery, ileostomy, like a colostomy but higher up, chemotherapy, was able to have a reversal later, and I'm still here 6 years later.
Yay!
Never give up.
Yay, Sue!
That's, just give the middle finger to cancer. That's what you got to do. You got to. Kevin says, I'm down as a donor since I gave stem cells to my brother for his leukemia a few years ago.
Wow.
See, we have a great community here. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
this is so
this
cool.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
The trolls that we kick out, those are the people that'll be like, you know, I wouldn't give you my kidney. Well, good, I wouldn't want yours. I might get your disease, whatever that is. Like, you know, you get the horror movie where the guy gets the arm from the murderer and the arm murders people. You get that guy's kidney, you'd probably be like going around flipping people off.
That's right.
It's not me, it's the kidney. The guy was a jerk who donated it.
Well, whoever gets mine gets a nice kidney.
That's
if they
right.
get one. If I'm able to do it, they get a nice...
Or your money back.
Hardly used, too.
Hardly used. Matt Foster's.
Actually, Lori's liver is hardly
my
used.
liver was hardly used, so they think that's why it was so small, because I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I just...
Inject it directly in the vein.
She had a bad experience. When she turned 19 in Arizona, it was legal to...
that was a drinking age.
that was a drinking age.
Of course,
at the
when
time.
I was too young, I didn't get to drink at 19.
So she and some friends went out to a Mexican restaurant before going to see a movie. And it said 3 for 1. And she ordered some drink like a margarita.
Yeah.
And she thought that meant you got 3 drinks.
That's what it sounds like to me.
3 shots in 1 drink is what it meant.
Oh, that's a...
It's something they don't do anymore, but they did at that time.
And that was like one of the first drinks you ever had?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like giving a kid, you catch him smoking, you go, here, let's have some cigars.
Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
I went to a movie that night with
Yeah.
my friends. The movie was Silkwood. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Silkwood, but
I've heard
it's
of it.
not a funny movie. But I giggled through the entire movie.
Yeah,
So
you had a good time for a while.
It's kind of like going to Schindler's List and having somebody chuckle the whole time.
yeah, it wasn't
Not
polite.
appropriate?
No,
Appropriate?
it was inappropriate laughter. So I don't like to be that much out of control. So no drinking
Yeah.
for me.
So you're a control freak, is that it?
I am a control freak. Ask anybody. Right, Shane?
Yes, ma'am.
You better say it. See what I did there? All right, I'll leave the improv to you. Never mind.
Bow.
All right, let's see. Let's do crystal disk info. Let's drag that over and see if we can check the health of this mechanical drive. This is a free utility you can download. Just type crystal disk info into Google. So there's the A data drive. We know that's good. Let's check the D. That's a 2 terabyte drive. It's also in good health. So the other thing I'll do is I'll just run like a check disk on it, make sure that all the files are in order. And it's no longer the OS. I think we should rename that. We'll just take OS out. We'll just backspace that. Did I backspace it? Rename. Backspace. Enter.
It wants it to be that.
What the heck? Maybe I got to refresh. Right click. Refresh. Nope. Rename. Space. Enter.
Is it just right
That's
there?
better. That's
Is
better.
it windy or is it raining?
There might be an actual little bit of rain.
Oh.
I heard there was a storm coming in.
Well, you can look right straight ahead. I don't see any rain.
I can.
Well, yeah, because I washed my car yesterday.
Of course.
So yeah, you can blame me for that.
But the wind is picking up.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain this afternoon, evening,
This afternoon, evening.
and evening.
It's getting evening with all of us.
Yeah, according to weather on my phone.
So here's what we're going to do. So everything's in good shape. I just have to mount the solid state drive in the case, which we have to figure out. I'm going to leave your mechanical drive alone. It'll be up to you to pull your data off of it. But what I would do if I were you is, and you don't have to be in a big hurry for it, but I would reformat that mechanical drive once you get, copy what you want to save onto the SSD, then format that drive just to make sure you're clearing off any potential problems. And let that be your data drive, and then you copy back what you wanted if you want to. And obviously continue making backups because your new SSD could die sooner than the mechanical drive, although statistically the mechanical drive, just by age alone, is more likely to fail than the solid state drive. But hopefully, I mean, there's no indicator that that would happen anytime soon. There's also lots of reasons, other reasons why people lose data, from fires and thefts and floods and viruses and accidental deletions. It goes on and on and on. So always back up your data so that you can, you know, when it comes to time to format that, you have confidence that you got everything you needed in 2 places, right? And it all seems fine. Once this indexing is turned off, I'm going to run Crystal Disk Mark on it again, because we had 540 before, and I want to see with AHCI mode enabled and UEFI enabled if that changes the performance.
Changes, yeah.
And then I also want to run it on the mechanical drive just to give you an idea of how much faster the SSD is. Even if you don't know what these numbers mean, just think of it as miles per hour.
Just any
bigger numbers better.
Bigger number means it's faster, but it's not like it's going to be 2 miles an hour faster. It's going to be like 300 miles an hour faster.
It's going to be multiple.
It's massively faster. So we're going to see just how fast this mechanical drive is. Some are faster than others. Again, on the $300 computers, they throw in a cheap, slow hard drive. A machine like this is probably a pretty fast mechanical drive, but we're going to find out here in just a minute. Seth says we're getting lots of rain in Colorado. Yeah, but they have legalized marijuana there, so who cares? Is
You
it
might
raining?
not be able to get out
I
to
don't know.
get your snacks. Yeah, Al Roker was saying that there was a storm coming in from the West Coast. Maybe it'll make the pollen count go down.
He says they've got a risk for tomatoes tomorrow. Oh, tornadoes, not tomatoes. That's when I'm on stage. I get a risk of
What
tomatoes.
about?
Getting rain in Vegas, he says.
Well, if it's in Vegas, it's not too far away. 77 degrees outside in Phoenix right now. Phoenix Metro.
Keith W. says, say hi to our Trekkie friends for me. Live long and prosper. You flashing gang signs again? What'd I tell you about that?
These are Vulcan gang signs.
Vulcan gang signs.
These kids.
As opposed to what Mork would do, which is
Nano, nano.
nano nano.
Yeah, you know how old we are, you can tell.
Yeah, everybody you're talking about is dead.
We're making all the references to dead people. No, think about Star Trek. Shatner's still alive.
Was he ever really alive?
No.
I mean, if that's what you call living, TJ Hooker,
TJ.
That's a show I
Hooker.
never watched.
just make sure you run up on the hood of the car.
Slide. You got to slide across that.
That had to be
hood,
a
too.
pretty reinforced hood, I
Yeah.
think. It was a stunt hood.
Now, Shatner was quite a bit lighter at that time. At that time. Now he has to have a Clydesdale.
Matt Foster's contributed £5. You've got good friends in Shane and Lori Carey. Here's £5 for your Coca-Cola habit.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think it goes the other way around, but that's
Yes. Well, the best friendships are,
The ones where no money's involved.
okay.
well,
I'm telling
That's
you,
true,
I will
too.
get you the money soon. Please don't threaten to break my kneecaps.
I don't threaten.
Your credit's so bad, we have to break your kneecaps in advance.
Oh, sounds like a debit card.
All right, let's take a look here. You know, I only have 2 mice and 2 keyboards. Imagine if I had 3. How much more confusing can I make this for myself?
I don't know. I think you need to put labels on these. Say which was.
Well, then you're assuming
is
I'm
which?
paying attention to labels.
What?
One could be black and white. I'd still grab the wrong one. It's just whichever one's nearer to me is supposed to be the one I want. And every direction I go is always north. It's just the way I am. All right, so we're going to run the just the top read and sequential read and writes on the SSD. We're going to compare those numbers after this, then with the mechanical drive. And I'm also curious, as I said, if the BIOS settings make any difference in the transfer speed. I don't think it will, but I could be wrong. So
what does BIOS stand for?
Basic Input-Output System.
Oh, I've always wondered.
Jimmy agrees.
There's the basic. You ever heard of the
Basic computer language?
Yeah, basic is an anagram. It means beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code.
Wow, anagrams on anagrams.
Well, you may have seen a version of Linux. It's called GNU, G-N-U, which stands for itself. The G in GNU stands for GNU, is not Unix. That bothers me when an anagram stands for itself.
Very circular.
Yes.
Yes.
Redundant.
Redundant.
All right, yeah, so we're still pretty much at the same numbers, 550, 440 on that. Let's try going to the D drive, which is your mechanical hard drive, and we'll run the same test, and we'll see.
We're going to see things go way down, probably.
Yeah, for sure. But what do you think? Place your bets. You think it'll be at 100,
I'm
120?
thinking-
It'll be usually between 100 and 200. Pick
Okay.
pick a number.
183.
For
$1. $1.
187.
Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty and mean. Oh, and look, see karma.
Was it 183?
It's 171.
171. I can't see it.
Oh, sorry about that. I keep forgetting. Yeah, so you're in 170s, which is actually pretty fast for a mechanical drive. It's respectable.
But
They make some that can go
So
a
I'm
little
going to guess
faster.
that the right is going to be about 101.
I think the write's going to be exactly the same.
You think so?
Yeah, because a mechanical drive reads and writes. It
Pretty much
should
the
read and
same?
write the same process.
Okay.
Flash memory doesn't work quite like that, but depending on the type of flash memory, as I talked about.
Well,
But then
mechanical
don't listen to
drive-
me. What do I know?
133.
So there's 133. It is slower on the writes.
She was right again.
2 for 2.
Well,
So you need a job? You looking for work?
using her intuitive skills. Well, whenever I lose something, I say, Lord, do you know where this is?
Like sanity?
Yeah, well, no. I've lost this thing. Can you find it?
I'm always looking for his thing.
See now.
Something.
Oh,
Always
let's
looking
not
for
get into
something.
that.
That's
I'm always looking for something.
that's a whole nother anagram. That's
Yeah.
TMI. So my wife likes to do this. That's the guy from that movie.
Yeah, I do that too.
You know who I'm talking
But
about.
then I know who it is because I make an educated guess.
Yeah, I have
and
no
I'm
point of
usually-
reference when my wife does it. She'll say, when you do this and then that happens, that's why you do that. Wait, what? That made sense to you, right?
What's the this that we just did?
Yeah, I need those. There's a word for that, for this and that. There's a type of, forget what that's called. But I'm like, you need to be more specific with me. I cannot read your mind. And when I'm driving, she'll say, I'm driving, right?
Mhm.
Like, act like you're driving, right? You're there, and she's there, and she goes, oh, look at that over there.
Ah!
And I'm like,
I can't. I'm driving here. I got to see here.
all I see is an arm. What are you doing? You're going to kill us all.
Get out your phone and take a picture. Oh, Lori, speaking of pictures, Lori was driving home from the Arizona Animal Welfare League, and she saw a very unique automobile. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was in town.
Oh, man, you don't want to see how that thing's made.
Agreed.
Someone took a picture of the Oscar Wienermobile in an accident, and I was like, look away. You don't want to see what's inside of that thing. You don't want to know how that's made.
Nobody
glad
wants
I
to
got
know
to
how
use
the
that joke
sausage
twice.
is made. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, I think we're pretty well done here. At this point, everything on the machine's looking good. It's running well. It's quiet. The fans are turning. Everything's operational. I just need to figure out how to get this solid state drive installed, and the rest is on you
All right.
to reinstall
Thank
your
you
software.
so much.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's a great excuse to have you come over and introduce you to the audience. And
Hopefully provide them with some interesting insights into similar things in their lives, like big rectangular boxes that decide to go wonky.
Well, I'm not sure how this drive's going to go in, so this will be a learning experience for me. I need to get right where you are.
All right, we'll get
I'll
on
get
there.
out of the way. I'll go back to my outside seat.
She'll be the quiet observer.
She's going to, we're going to get you the, cut, action, quiet on the set.
Bring it.
All right, so let's take a look here.
Oh, excuse me, Jimmy. I didn't mean to call for a different dog. What was I
But now that
Says,
you
"I am
called
the
for a
only
different dog,
that matters. Are you kidding me? That's an interesting.
that doesn't sound good. Are you kidding me? Never sounds good.
Well, they've got the hard drive screwed to the side of the case, and then they've got the cage that the hard drive goes into screwed separately apart from that. Usually they go together, one screws into the other one. But these it's sort of a redundant design, I guess. The Department of Redundancy Department.
I'm going to put your wedge in so that it's not moving around so much.
There. So what they normally, a drive would go in this cage here, right? So everybody can see. And then the drive that goes here actually mounts to the side of the case rather than into the cage, which I guess makes it easier to get in and out of. So what I've got to do is get a little drive bay adapter because, as you can see, a 3.5-inch drive does not fit. I mean, a 2.5-inch
It's like
drive
flopping
does not.
around in there.
I wonder if you could put it in the opposite way. Maybe we don't need an adapter.
I mean, the screws in the...
Oh no, that's not gonna work. Those holes are way too big, way too big. Yeah, so we'll have to get an adapter, but I just so happen to have some that some kind folks have sent for the giveaways.
Very generous donations. I'll lean back in here so the camera can see me. Not that the camera needs to see me or wants to see me, but here I am anyway.
Actually, we can go to old school on this. I have an adapter that's a lot cheaper. I hate to use those other ones because they're special. I don't think your case requires. Oh, bless you.
Gesundheit. For our German-speaking friends.
Isn't that a weird cultural thing we do?
Good health.
It's just so you sneeze and you're supposed to say something. It's supposed to evacuate the devil from your soul.
Well, to quote Bob Newhart, stop it.
Stop it.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
People won't understand that
I
reference.
know. Mad TV.
Look up Bob Newhart, Mad TV, where he plays a psychologist, and he has a cure for everybody's diseases in 5 minutes for $1 a minute. And it won't take more than 5 minutes. Yeah, that screwdriver is too wide.
All right.
Come back over here and we'll grab a mechanical driver that's a bit smaller.
So the old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee? No.
Yeah.
That's something that's a different product category.
I know how to capture your food.
And I don't know how it can taste as great as its name. When I don't go, oh, that's delicious. Is that old? It tastes like old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee.
Nothing sounds more delicious than an old Milwaukee. Not a new Hawaii.
No.
No. What am I thinking? Tastes as great as its
name. You
name.
got lovely ears, Jimmy. You got lovely ears.
See my teeth.
I'd rather not see your teeth. I enjoy your ears.
But they're better to, what does he say to
Be-
little Red
better
Riding?
to taste you with. Yeah.
Those are big teeth you've got, Grandma.
All the better to bite you.
I should put him in a little grandma outfit. So yeah, so these adapters I don't get a chance to use very often because they're very limited in the kinds of machines they can be used in. But back when SSDs first came out, when they first came out for consumers, OCZ would include this little drive bay adapter here. And with some machines, they have these connectors where you have to have, the drive has to be in the same location as a 3.5 inch drive.
Same orientation?
Well, like the screw, the holes for the screws and stuff have to be exact. But I think, oh no, this isn't gonna work. You see what's happening here? In order for me to put the screws in, I can make the screws fit in one hole on each side. You know what? But that's all we need. We don't really need to secure it. It's a solid state drive. Well, it doesn't matter if it moves. It doesn't matter if it tilts. There's nothing. There's no moving parts in there.
It's not like the head. And
yeah, there's nothing to smack around. So we don't have to make it perfect because it won't make any difference. So I've got just a few screws here, a few loose screws.
Some loose screws,
yeah,
a few hundred.
There we go. Now find a fine thread screw. Yeah, that would just be cruelty to you, wouldn't it? Pick them out.
Pick out the fine?
Yeah, I need the fine thread. I need the ones that look like this one. I need 4 like that.
So you found one instantly.
Yeah, but
that's what good eyesight will do for you.
Well,
folks.
you know, the fact that you're calling my eyesight good is
right now in comparison with mine, it is good. There is a
is that like hanging around fatter people
well,
so you feel like you're thin?
There's a monologist.
A what?
Monologist.
I don't know what that is.
A man who does monologues.
A monologist,
yes.
Like Conan O'Brien.
In this case, it's a man. It's a guy named Spalding Gray who.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He committed suicide.
That's not why.
But he did several one-man shows, let's say, documentary-style one-man shows. One which was called Spalding Gray's Gray's Anatomy. And in this documentary, he talks about having an eye operation, among other things. He talks about a lot of stuff. And he talks about an eye operation. Well, he had the same eye operation I did almost 2 years ago. I had some blood in this eye, and it looked like somebody had taken and put a curtain that was fringy in front of my eye.
That was your perspective.
Yes. They had to go in, take out the fluid in the eye, clean it out, replace the fluid, and then I then had to heal. Right. Well, one of the problems I've had is inflammation in the eye. So things are not focusing properly.
I gotcha.
And in my right eye, not too long afterwards, which is the eye that was operated on, I also had cataract surgery, so I had a lens replacement. So this eye is not functioning as well as it should. And now this eye, I've got a cataract in, so everything is hazy. So I'm no longer driving because...
Well, getting old is not for the weak.
No.
Getting older, I should say. Not getting old. Getting older. Right?
Right.
And, you know, I always thought this was stuff that happened to other people until it started happening to me with regards to trying to read a menu in a dimly lit restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes even a well-lit restaurant. Or the check, you know, the bill comes and it's like, I start doing that thing I used to watch adults do where you pull it away.
Distance and closer.
Eyes
distance and closer, yeah.
Go like that, and I'm like, oh, I can see it now.
Well, I was nearsighted. So it used to be, if I wanted to read, take my glasses off and just read. And then the restaurants seem to be getting darker and darker.
Yeah, and the menu fonts are getting smaller.
Smaller and smaller.
But I do know for a fact on aspirin bottles, they are putting more stuff on there, more disclaimers.
Yes.
So I know the fonts are getting smaller. I know they are. It's not just my eyes.
They're cramming more stuff in there.
Yeah, they you know, if they don't say it, then you can sue them for not saying it. It's the
Did
stupidest
you want
rule.
to show them more of that?
I was just showing what it looked like installed, and there's a little brace here that's going to prevent that from drooping, which is what I was worried about. But it's not long enough for me to get the other mounting screw. That would be standard on a 3.5-inch hard drive. And those 3.5-inch hard drive adapters that are expensive, they actually do fit and conform to that. But you don't need it, so And I'd rather save those for machines that have to have them. Let's see how it sort of wiggles in there. It doesn't matter, it's fine.
As long as I don't go jogging with it, I should be okay.
Even if you go jogging with it, even when it's turned on, it won't hurt a thing. It's just a matter of getting into a habit of installing mechanical drives and realizing that you don't have to do that anymore. And we're trying to do it cheap, we're trying to keep this as inexpensive as we can.
Anyway, in the Grey's Anatomy DVD, there is an extra that shows what the operation looks like from the inside of his eye.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And that was pretty much my experience.
Really?
Yep.
You saw it?
I watched the
well, I guess you have to be awake, don't you?
I watched the video. And, oh yeah, you're not unconscious during it.
But thankfully, obviously the surgery must have went well.
It went well as far as that goes, but I still haven't completely recovered my vision. So.
Okay. How long ago was that?
It's almost 2 years now.
And how long is it supposed to take?
Well, there doesn't seem to be any
no answer.
Standard answer.
Gotcha.
Every
Everybody's
6 weeks
different.
I get eye injections in my eyes to reduce the inflammation.
I wish you had told me that. That sounds horrific.
They deaden the eye. They put drops in to deaden the eye, and then they give you an injection. And he'll say, look down to your left, look down to your right, depending which eye he's doing the injection.
Is that the hokey pokey for your eye?
Yeah. No, that's what, so that he's not.
I don't want anything called pokey with my eye.
Neither
no
do
pokey
I. No
the
pokey
eye.
the eye. No pokey the eye. And for anybody in the audience who's finding some of this stuff distasteful, unfortunately, that's the
life.
thing that happens with
It's
bodies.
life.
Yeah.
Some people have already been through it. You're not alone. It's not like it's just you. And a lot of people are like, oh, that sounds terrible. It is terrible, but you got to deal with it. And you may have to deal with it someday too.
Nobody wants to do it, but if you have a choice of going blind or doing this,
pick the lesser of two evils, right? And we have the technology, where we didn't have that before. And that's the reality of life. It's not pretty sometimes, especially if you can't see. All right, that should be everything mounted and installed.
And this is for that. So.
That'll be for the side panel. I can put that side panel back on. Let's see, it should be right. Oh, no. That's it. You got it. You got it.
So many.
Yeah, I got a couple little projects going on here. Let me just tilt those back a little bit so they don't fall. So we can put this back on. And
You want to remove the wedge so you can move it around.
alrighty. Very good. And we'll put these two back in here. I'll put these screws back. My big fear is dropping this.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine that cleanup?
I can imagine it, and it would not be fun.
It's going to need a magnet, I can tell you that. Man, I can hear that wind outside. It's crazy windy. Okay, this should be it. It should just work. We'll turn it back on, and we'll kick it over to the other input, and let's see what our boot time is now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's pretty much the same as it was. I'm probably counting my seconds a little too fast. I should get my timer out to be more official, but everybody watching it can see the actual amount of time it took. And let's take a look, see if I've missed any other contributions in the chat while we've been chatting. Matt Foster contributed £5. He's one of his favorite anagrams is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Forgot the I. Oh, good. So that was Matt Foster, contributed 3 times in a row. Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate that very much. What time is it? 2:45? It's a good time to wrap things up. I think everything's working. Let's just make sure we have both the C drive, the D drive, and the optical drive showing. Got to go to the right video feed to see that. Yeah, there's your C drive, there's the D drive, and there's the DVD drive. Very good. So you'll have a little work ahead of you with regards to putting your software back on, but as far as Windows and drivers and activation, that's all done for you. And you should be back in business. And you cannot rewind this back to Windows 7 if you tried, because it ain't there anymore.
Well, nobody's doing anything with Windows 7 anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, you could try and prove me wrong all you want. I guarantee you cannot do it.
Because it ain't there no more, no more.
Because there's nothing to roll back to other than Windows 10. They love the Rick and Morty shirt.
Thank you.
Can't go wrong with the Rick and Morty shirt. Just can't go wrong. Here.
Your portal gun.
Oh, we're in C-137. We're in the right place.
Whee!
Morty! It's crazy over in C-136, Morty. People there were...
It's terrible we had to kill ourselves and bury us in the backyard.
Morty, it doesn't matter. I care very little what you think, Morty.
I know.
Watch some TV. All right. When's that show coming back on? It's supposed to be 72 new episodes.
Wow.
I'm waiting patiently.
And impatiently, too.
Game of Thrones could care less. Could care less.
Well, we were talking about that, the Game of Thrones, they were doing all this build-up before, and then they did the whole thing about after, the day after, you know, we're not going to do any spoilers, but now the Game of Thrones is blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, now we are good for at least the next 6 episodes until the last episode, when they then have the big build-up about the end of the series and all that other stuff.
Well, then they can do their spin-offs, right?
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
there's money to
if
be made.
HBO can make money off of it.
Exactly.
Will.
David Penny has contributed 20 Australian dollars. He says, this is for the channel and not for the fridge. There's a whole story about the fridge. No, that fridge has got to go. That fridge is, me and that fridge, it's upset me. It's very
because it's stainless steel and you can't
No, I got no problem. No. There's this little drip tray right here, this plastic drip tray.
Yes.
Do you know how much money that this sells for from GE to replace? See how it's peeling up and it's turning green?
Yee.
How much would you pay for that plastic part? What do you think is a fair
How
price?
much would you pay for this? Well, I would think that this thing should not cost more than $5.
Yeah, I was going to say between $6 and $12 maybe. $57.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
Forget it. I'll get a whole
And
new refrigerator.
It's been one thing after another. The little drawers have cracked and I had to replace the drawers, but I got them on eBay from somebody who, like a appliance recycling place.
50 cents. You could
$56. Like, it's not even made of metal and it's just going to peel again in time.
You could make a silicone
So I would
mold
rather...
and make your
Oh, you
own
could do a
out of
3D.
resin.
You could do a 3D printer. Do it.
Yes.
On a 3D printer.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I want it to be that color, right? I mean, I can get a black one for $6, but if you want the stainless steel color, it's $56.
How about if you got the black one and then got some spray chrome?
How about if I just take the refrigerator and sell it and go buy a new refrigerator
Okay.
for 20 times the cost of the tray, just because I'm upset that I'm done replacing stupid parts that shouldn't be breaking. I don't have any kids. Nobody is slamming the doors.
This is interesting
the doors
too.
aren't even. It's always been that way. The left door is higher. And I'm sure there's a way to adjust it, but it just doesn't bother me enough and it stays sealed. The refrigerator part works. It's never had a problem with the compressor. It refrigerates well. It freezes well. It looks nice. But the ice maker keeps breaking and the drawer is cracked and it's like...
Ice maker is one of the things that go
It's critical.
bad on these, not just this make, but
I've had
I
other
think
GE refrigerators and never had a problem
Really?
with this. This is the most expensive GE refrigerator I ever bought. It's the worst I've ever bought. So I'm so sick of it. I want to go, even though there's nothing technically wrong with it, I'm done with it. And besides, it's almost 10 years old. Their new ones are more efficient, right? Just help me with my justification.
That's what they tell us.
Because the refrigerator I want is $2,600 on sale.
Ooh.
It's not cheap. But that's only $260 a year over 10 years, right? And that breaks down.
True.
That breaks down to less than what, $20 a month, a little bit more.
You might save that in electricity.
I don't think I'll save $20 a month, but you got the gist of it here. You get the justification machine rolling. And before you know it,
is this for
you get that
Michelle's
24
benefit?
months 0% financing and slam that justification.
Is the
door,
justification just for you or for your wife?
Is what?
I said, is all this justification just for you?
For me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really upset by it. This is stuff that shouldn't break, and if it does break, it shouldn't cost that much money. That's ridiculous.
There are refrigerators from the 40s that still work.
Sure. Yeah, but I'm sure that when you turn them
They're
on,
not
the lights
efficient.
dim. Yeah.
They're not efficient. They don't give you
And if
as
the
much
refrigerant
space
leaks
and
out, like, part of the atmosphere goes away, but, they work well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up today's stream. We have a... How do we summarize today's show? If you try to fix it yourself and you screw up, I'm always here. I'll go get my cape. I can make it work. And otherwise, how else do you learn? You have to learn. Part of what learning what to do is learning what not to do. Though you're not even sure what you did, so maybe not much of a lesson here, but wasn't really much of a repair, more of a reset and an upgrade. And I always think it's always a good idea. Don't just fix it, make it better than it was before. If you've got to go through the effort to reinstall Windows anyway, why not spend the $100 on the terabyte SSD and do exactly what you did? So when you get the computer back, it'll be like a brand new computer. Not only because the OS is clean and there's no programs, but also because it's going to be fast. It's going to be faster than it's ever been. And nobody has ever called me up and said, "Can you slow my computer down? It's just too darn fast." I've never had that phone call. So thanks you guys for watching. Thanks to everybody who's contributed. I'll give a shout out one more time to all the contributions that came in during today's stream. So we'll start backwards and work our way to the beginning. David Penny, Matt Foster, Dr. Smith or Dr. Smith, Diagnostic56, Michael Dane, Steve Devine, Donnie Seeger, 13 Grands Tech Guy, Colin Hunt, Ruben M, Jamie M, Christoph Esch, John Yasuda, William Major, Matt Power, Eddie Casanova, John Peck, John Craig, Nikolai Lukianov, Tony Wallow, Jim Desposito, Art Awesome, and the first contribution that came in from Simon Etches. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Thank you, of course, to Shane and
thank you to Carey.
Yes, thank you, Carey, for fixing our computer.
And thank you to all the people who had such nice things to say about us. And
I can even.
well, we got to get the refrigerator in there.
Oh yeah, there's the fridge. The fridge.
My curse.
So.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure having you. I hope that we'll have an excuse to bring you back for something. So
and we hope that
worst.
we'll get you back into improv.
Yeah.
Oh, twist my arm. It's really just a question of time. That's all it is. I just need two of me.
I know how that goes.
If there were two of me.
What they say about time, it's a good thing to have, but you got to be careful because it could all occur at once.
Yes, it kind of feels like that already.
What?
Time, if everything occurred at once,
if it wasn't for time, everything would happen at once.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You told it a little funny.
I did.
Yeah. But
And
it's
not
true.
funny, haha. Funny,
No.
strange.
Yeah, funny like Joe Pesci. Yeah.
What?
All right.
What, I unusual?
But like funny
I
like
make
a
you
clown.
laugh?
Am I funny like a clown? All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody in blue handling
Thank
the
you.
trolls that we had. A couple of trolls in there, too.
Oh.
You can see they didn't have much impact on our...
Bye, trolls.
Bye, trolls.
Oh, they were gone long ago. I didn't even know they had Wi-Fi under the bridge.
Ooh.
Thank you, guys, for watching. I'll see you all again, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. And until then,
Tomorrow.
bye for now.
Bye.